When it comes to weight loss, no two people are the same. That's why Noom builds personalized plans based on your unique psychology and biology. Take Brittany. After years of unsustainable diets, Noom helped her lose 20 pounds and keep it off.
I was definitely in a yo-yo cycle for years of just losing weight, gaining weight, and it was exhausting.
And Stephanie. She's a former D1 athlete who knew she couldn't outtrain her diet, and she lost 38 pounds.
My relationship to food before Noom was never consistent.
And Evan, he can't stand salads, but he still lost 50 pounds with Noom.
I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. Even through the pickiness, Noom taught me that building better habits builds a healthier lifestyle. I'm not doing this to get to a number. I'm doing this to feel better.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom users compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
I will remember you. Will you remember me?
For only $3 a month, you, loyal listener, can sponsor a sober podcaster. You can have access to our Patreon feed. Okay, guys. You can have access to our Patreon feed at patreon.com/worstpeople, WORSE. Every month, you'll get a mental health episode, which is us covering a movie that we like, a good movie. You'll get a newsletter talking about what's coming up and things that are going on with the show. You get access to archived episodes, and we have some other things in the works, including early access to Jack and I's Star Wars podcast, Han Took Shots First, and I have a couple other ideas in the ether.
Hopper.
Yeah.
In the mix.
So, I mean, for only $3 a month, you can help fight sobriety.
Yes. For just $3 a month, you can make sure that we have beers.
No podcaster left sober. That's my initiative, and I'm taking it across the country.
And it will be every month without fail. You will get an extra episode. And like I said, there will be more benefits to you. So please check it out. Patreon.com/worstpeople.
Just fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Ludo.
I'm the Goblin King.
This is Bad Movies.
Worst people.
Why didn't I say worst people?
Right up front, I just want to say something first to stop any anger on the internet. This is Mental Health Month. The Labyrinth is not a bad movie. We are still worse people.
Yeah, that's not going to change.
Yeah. For Mental Health Month, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. So we decided that we're doing our mental health movies. We each get to pick a movie, and we'll have a classic one. And, of course, we have a Patreon that everybody loves. So we're doing good movies that we like to watch.
This stemmed from a joke from, like early days of the podcast where I said you were assaulting us with bad movies.
Correct.
And for our mental health, we need to watch something good. And then here you came up with this idea.
And it's funny because I think you said it while we were doing It's Gonna Be Bay last year.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, which was my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then at some point you said something and I was like, what is Mental Health Month? And I looked it up and I was like, oh, May. We did that wrong.
Yes, we did. Well, sometimes you have to break yourself down to recreate a better person.
And we definitely did
And
that.
man, I broke down pretty hard.
Yeah.
When the best movie in the lineup is Pain and Gain. You've got some issues. Nothing against that movie. Don't get me wrong.
Fantastic. So I get to host this night's episode. This is my pick. We are doing The Labyrinth. This is a special movie to me. I've been obsessed with this movie since I was like 5, 6. I don't know. When did it came out in 86?
86.
So yeah, it's been in my life forever.
This movie should be rated R for really tight close-ups of David Bowie's crotch. There are times I'm like, I'm really glad I don't have children right now. Because like, Dad, what's that shape?
Well, really tight shots of David Bowie's crotch.
Sarah's only 14.
Fake statue dicks are in here.
Oh yeah, there are fake.
But I mean, she's only 14, but I don't think there's anything inappropriate
He's in love with her.
Yeah, but it's like that
Okay, so
fairy
he's
tale
grooming
fantasy
her.
thing. Yeah.
Correct.
Also, we don't know how old he is. I think that he's a little kid that got left behind, and that's why he takes little kids that got left behind, and they turns them into goblins.
That's actually kind of really close to what they were saying.
Oh, really?
We just watched the behind the scenes that he never wanted to be the Goblin King, but he was just a spoiled brat and got left.
Yeah.
And the goblins raised him, and so he
Okay.
has like these magical powers and just steals babies.
I've always assumed that like when he steals the babies, he turns them into goblins for
Yes.
his army. All right.
So he's Jeffrey Epstein? He steals babies and turns them into goblins for his army.
If Epstein's Island was the Labyrinth, fucking what's his name? Stephen Hawking never would have gotten there. And we know that he did.
No, if he would have just kept going on that way, went straight to the castle.
That part frustrates me. I love it, but I also am just like, it's so frustrating that this movie could have been just, or not the movie. I like the movie. Her journey could have been, whoop, I'm at the castle.
Well, it's that that kind of famous fairy tale, like Alice in Wonderland-esque, like
Wizard of Oz.
backwards talk.
Yeah.
Where it's always like all the little creatures and everything that inhabits the world talks in riddles and doesn't say what they mean. It's like she starts turning the one way.
No, don't go that way.
Never go that way.
So she goes the other way. Well, you shouldn't go that way either. You should have just went straight.
Yeah.
But say it after she's gone, right? So.
Yeah. Just kept on going
I
that
do
way,
like
man.
the,
Straight to the castle.
hello. Did you say hello?
No, I said hello.
Close
Close enough.
Yeah.
Come in, meet the missus, have a spot of tea. How I want to see this happen. I want to meet the
do.
missus.
I want to meet the
I want to
missus.
meet your little larva.
But that's later. First, let me just say, this is the Labyrinth,
Yes, it's not the.
which I only recently learned. But it came out in 1986, and it's only PG, kids movie. But as we said, there's balls and dicks. Maybe
Yeah.
it should be higher rated. I don't know.
It was the 80s. It's fine.
Directed by Jim Henson, the great Jim Henson, who,
May
I
he
mean,
rest
he
in
didn't
pictures.
direct a lot of movies. This was the last movie he directed.
Okay.
He directed Dark Crystal, of course, but mostly, and like Great Muppet Caper, but mostly he did like Muppets on TV. He did Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
He did direct all of Fraggle Rock. He didn't direct all of the Muppets. He created the Muppets.
He
Arguably
actually,
what he's known for the most.
Yeah.
he actually passed away 4 years after this was released.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he passed away in 1990.
Yeah.
He has a patented way of sewing up the puppets, or the Muppets rather. Like it's called the Jim Henson stitch. It's
Oh, really?
yeah. It looks really similar to that line you have going down your scrotum.
Okay.
You know, where we were put together by God.
Yeah, exactly. God just Jim Henson us right up, dude.
That's where he got it.
I
God,
am-
I mean, not Jim
I am more
Henson.
Muppet than human, I think. You ever seen Animal?
I've seen you.
Yeah. All right. So yeah,
I agree.
I saw the Fireys in this movie.
they like reggae.
You take your hat off all the time.
I don't wear hats anymore.
But yes, Jim Henson did pass away in 1990. He was only 53, and apparently he was sick for like days leading up to his death. He died of bronchial pneumonia.
Uh-huh.
He had walking pneumonia for like 12 days. He didn't tell anybody because he didn't want to be a burden on anybody.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of a character trait of his. He was never wanting
Yeah.
to bother anybody else with his shit. This movie also was a critical and commercial failure.
Really?
It gained a cult following very quickly because it came out in the era of VHS, so people could
Yes.
see it, and there was movie like late night movie showings and stuff like that. But it only made, it cost him $25 million, and worldwide it only made 14.6.
Wow, that is shocking.
So that was it was a big source of depression for him, according to his son. But shortly after, like I said, it gained a cult following, and he kind of got confidence back in himself.
Yeah, the
thinking-
royalties from the movie, right?
Well,
Just kinda
I don't know
I'm
if
sure
he's
that's
dead.
But again, that wouldn't be an immediate thing, getting that money back. It would just be, but knowing that people liked it, and it probably wasn't marketed well. Is what
There's
I
a
would
lot
assume.
of there's a lot of heart and soul put in this movie. I mean, I was watching this thinking you can't make this now.
Yeah.
For the simple fact of you don't have a Bowie.
No.
There's nobody in music right now. It's going to end up being Taylor Swift as the Goblin Queen.
No.
Yeah, and there's going to be no puppets. It's going to be all CGI.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like there's this was lightning in a bottle, and it sucks that it didn't do well right away, but it lives on with much strength.
Speaking of lightning in a bottle, Derek pointed out to me this was the first film ever to use a realistic CGI animal flying,
The-
like that
the
owl.
at the
Owl?
beginning.
Yeah.
which doesn't look great by today's standards, but it was the first feature film in history.
We've seen stuff that looks close to this bad recently.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a pass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, I thought I was gonna own a barn owl at one point in my life, probably because of this movie. Like that's easily the best owl.
Had
You can
nothing-
tell me great horned owl, and I'll tell you you're wrong.
Had nothing to do with Hogwarts.
I also didn't even realize that they called him Hogwarts.
Yep. There's Hogwart, Hedgehog, Hegel,
It's
Hedwig,
Yeah, they call him David Bowie specifically. He calls him a lot of dumb things.
Hegel.
Hoggle. And I didn't know that was Jim Henson's son voicing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian did a lot of voices in this.
I feel like you have a lot of voices. A lot of people doing a lot of voices. Like that's why you got him.
Yeah, most
Shocked
of the-
Frank Welker's not here.
Yeah, most of the budget went to obviously like the puppets and the sets and stuff because there were a handful of people who actually did the performing and the voices.
They had to have 20 puppeteers. They started with 20 puppeteers and then had to add 20 more. So the Fireys had 3 people per Fiery.
This is why it made it so hard to look people up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I kind of recognize that voice. I'm like, oh, it's not him. No, that's the body or the left hand.
Exactly.
And that's the right hand. And that guy played the foot.
Exactly. That's 100% what it was. You had somebody controlling one side, somebody controlling the other, the person with the feet, and then the mouth. And so they
Yeah.
all had to dance together.
I'll tell you, it looked fucking better than I thought it would this
Yeah.
many years later. 'Cause
Yeah,
I haven't
I've-
seen it in a long
I mean,
time.
the worst looking segment is the Fireys, and it's only because of
Her.
having all those parts. They had to
Do it on
have the
blacks.
people wearing all black, like a play where everybody's
yeah.
wearing black and there's
Crushed
a black
velvet.
background, and then they had to like kind of key it all out. And so you can see that, but that's because they've got the heads flying and they've got the hands being controlled
it's
and all that.
pretty.
so.
It's a pretty, pun intended, wild shot. Like,
yeah.
And that's
there's a lot going on there.
That's one of the shots that Lucas helped on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
because George Lucas was a producer on this, and actually, I read a thing. He wouldn't do any interviews, any press before the movie came out because he didn't want to take the thunder away from Jim Henson. He wanted
Yeah.
him to have credit for making it.
You were
That's a good
saying they
friend.
were known to be really close.
Yeah, they
right?
were really close friends, like up until the day Jim Henson died.
Wow.
Like they were super good friends. Actually, that leads into another fun fact. Jim
This
Henson
better be a fun fact.
It is.
All right.
Jim Henson was originally offered Yoda.
Oh, instead of Frank Oz.
Yeah, but he declined because he was working on other stuff, and he was the one who recommended Frank Oz.
Nice.
Dope.
I mean, Frank Oz worked out quite well.
Yeah.
So Frank Oz in this movie, and then I noticed 2 other Star Wars actors. I'm sure there's a bunch just because the 2 I'm going to mention are little people, so I bet you have a lot of that. But
Yeah.
Kenny Baker, who
Yes.
did R2D2,
Oh, really?
and Warwick Davis.
Oh,
Who
is
was
he in there?
Warwick in this?
Said Goblin Trooper or Goblin Army or something like
I was
that.
wondering if he was in it.
So yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a speaking line or showing his face, but this is '86, so this is just after Return. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's still young.
yeah.
He's still a young little pup.
And this is, I mean, it's something we've run into before watching 80s movies that feature little people. Is a lot of the same actors show up because
Work
Return
is
of the
slim, I
Jedi had
mean.
20,000 little people in it.
Yeah. Before Return of the Jedi, you had fucking Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're using the preferred nomenclature.
Yes.
Correct? It is little
Yes.
people. Okay.
Yes.
And one more little thing I read about Jim Henson that made me laugh, just because we're never going to get to talk about Jim Henson again, really. I mean, maybe he'll come up, but this is like the only movie I think that'll be here. Apparently, he'd started doing the puppets, not the Muppets yet, but he started doing puppetry very early, like in high school. So he showed up to his own high school graduation in a Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud with money he had earned from a puppet show he had on like the local NBC affiliate.
What?
Baller ass move, dude.
And that's
I-
how we met his wife?
Well, and I guess he was a big he loved exotic cars, so he had a Lotus at one point.
That's why he was friends with Lucas. Bunch of fucking street racers, man.
he had a Lotus at
Got
one
a hot
point
rod
that was
around
painted
town?
Kermit Green.
Ooh,
Is that how he got Kermit's voice?
maybe. I don't know how to do a Jim Henson impersonation, so I'll just do Marky Mark.
Honestly, you just sound like him.
Hey, you got a good fucking voice. Mind if I use that? Put in some puppets? Hey, George, say something else for me.
I did read that Kermit was named after a childhood friend of his from like Missouri or wherever he's from.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, I'm going to use Kermit for the name. What's the voice? And he gets a phone call and he picks it up. Hey Jim, it's George. What are you doing? He's like,
Oh
this is a great
my
fucking
God.
voice.
Love it. Here's a fun fact for you.
Ooh, double fun?
Double fun.
Hit me, mama.
Derek just enlightened me. Who do you think also tried out for the role of Sarah?
The role of Sarah, who is Jennifer Connelly, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
You're
gonna be
tried out for it. We're talking 86. I'm gonna go Gina Davis.
Nope.
I didn't see Gina Davis. There's a bunch of people who tried out for Sarah.
Who'd you got?
So
MT.
I have a
Marissa Tomei.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's the Goblin King. I wish this little baby would be taken by the goblins.
I wish this baby would shut the hell up.
We wanted to let you know because now I feel like that's going to be Sarah for this episode.
It has to be, right?
A bunch of other people that we would recognize, like there was a whole list of people who tried out, and a lot of the names I didn't know, but they were listed as if I should. But Helena Bonham Carter, Yasmine Bleeth, Sarah Jessica Parker, Laura Dern, Ali Sheedy.
Jesus.
Ali Sheedy, I can see.
And Ali
You
Sheedy was
said somebody
almost-
Ali
first
Sheedy would have been
that
too
would have
old.
changed this movie.
Helena Bonham Carter.
would have changed this movie
Long before Tim Burton.
Sure, absolutely, but she's always been like that.
Yeah.
That's why Tim liked her.
I feel like Ali Sheedy would have been too old because this character is supposed to be like roughly 16, I believe. But Jennifer Connelly was only 14 when they were filming.
Yeah.
David Bowie had absolutely nothing but nice things to say.
I'm
He's
glad
like,
it's
"You
Jennifer
forgot."
Connelly because, like, I had a very age appropriate crush on her when this
Yeah.
came out. Well, I guess it wasn't age appropriate because
Same.
I was 4,
Oh,
so it wasn't age. But you know what I mean. Like at the time, I was watching this as a youth.
As a youth?
I had a crush on her. So now going back and watching it, obviously you're not going to have a crush on this 14-year-old girl. I was able to watch it and be like, man, she's acting very well for her age,
Yeah.
and she looks like this. Obsessed with fairy tales teenager.
Yeah.
And, she looks like she would go play in some garden and read a fucking Labyrinth book.
100%.
Well, and
So-
Ali Sheedy was one of the final.
I still think
ones,
she would have
but
been too old
I'm
to
badass.
portray it.
So
Okay, before we get in, I have one other thing I want to add. So I know a lot of fun little secrets about it because I've watched this so much and I've watched a lot of documentaries on it. One thing that I did learn is when she's in her room and she's playing with her makeup and she's pissed off at her parents and she's got pictures of her real mother with David Bowie from a real newspaper article clipping because they've known each other.
Oh, okay. Oh, another Star Wars actor. Her dad. He's one of the X-Wing pilots when they assault the Death Star.
you know what else he is?
What?
He is in Highlander
Yeah.
as Kirk Matunis. He's like a hunter in Highlander. I can't think of.
Like in the flashbacks or when they're in the city having the sword fight?
I don't remember now.
Wrong podcast.
Yeah.
But he's
not the podcast
He's
you're
heavily
looking for.
featured as like a hunter character in
Gotcha.
Highlander, and her stepmom, played by Shelley Thompson. Her biggest other thing. Did you ever watch Trailer Park Boys?
No.
Oh, she was Leahy's ex-wife,
Ex-wife.
Barb Leahy, and a lot of that. So
Okay.
she goes from snooty rich stepmom to Trailer Park wife.
Don't we all?
Snooty trailer park wife.
And the dad, by the way, Christopher Malcolm,
Yeah.
was the guy's name. He was also on Absolutely Fabulous for a long time.
I'll tell you something that I
Wheels
learned
on
today.
fire.
I have a hard time spelling Labyrinth.
Labrynth.
Yeah. I had no idea where to put that Y.
Oh yeah, Labyr.
Laby, Labyrinth.
INTH.
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Give your labia rinse. That's disgusting.
Oh, I have one more thing to say because you might get a good impersonation out of it. Jim Henson died the same day as Sammy Davis Jr.
Hey, babe, imagine that. He's not putting his hand up my ass.
I already let the ladies do that. Fuck puppets.
Oh, wow.
One more behind the scenes bit because the writer. I have some other fun facts, but I'll do. The writer was Terry Jones, who is one of
Terry Jones.
the Monty Python crew.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fucking awesome.
Which definitely didn't know that.
Like Jim Henson and another guy he's worked with, like on Fraggle Rock, came up with the story. Terry Jones wrote the script, and then Jim Henson gave it to a few other people to do rewrites and stuff, as happens. And by the time it got back to him, he was like, all the funny is gone. So he took it back to Terry Jones and was like, can you make this funny again?
Make with the funny. Make
Yeah.
with the ha-has, guy.
So like he went through it. He's like, there was some stuff he had to work around some of the stuff they had changed because it was integral to the story now or whatever. But he went through it again. So basically, he is the writer.
Yeah.
It took a year and a half for them to make all of the puppets and everything before they can even start practicing how to do, like, practice your acting and everything and have everybody work together. Rehearse. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Blocking and all. You got a lot of moving fucking parts here.
So I think all in all, it probably took 2 years for this to get filmed.
Yeah, it might have even been more if you're talking about pre-production, honestly. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of puppets and moving pieces here.
And you were saying it was on the set right next to Legend?
Yeah, something I read said they were filming next door to Legend.
And it had the same cinematographer?
But yeah, the cinematographer.
All right, hold on. I got to run next door real quick. 1 second.
Exactly.
That's what I'm curious about, because I had read that it was next door to Legend, and so they all like interacted a lot and had a good time. And by the way, don't change that dial on Legend for another mental health.
If there's a video an image of Tim Curry dressed up as the devil hanging out with the Goblin King, we gonna need that photo.
Or hanging out with Ludo. But I don't know how that would work with him being a cinematographer. The guy's name is Alex Thompson. Being on both, cinematographer on both, that's
cocaine.
Crazy.
One shot at night.
And the cinematographer did some other cool stuff. He did The Keep, which was a very early Michael Mann movie. I'm probably the only one here who's seen that. Yeah. It's not great, but it's cool.
Do you own it?
No, I don't.
Ooh.
Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
Someone's getting
But he was also the cinematographer on, so he's a welcome back to the show.
Yes, he is.
Because he was the cinematographer on High Spirits.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And then he also did Raw Deal, Leviathan, Cliffhanger, Demolition Man, so he'll be back.
I was going to say, you just said a bunch of things I want to watch and some I want to record an episode about.
And then, of course, all the songs, the musical numbers were written by David Bowie. The one that the Fireys do was not obviously performed by him, but he wrote that song too.
Okay.
The guy Trevor Jones, who did the score for the rest of it, also did The Dark Crystal, Arachnophobia, Last of the Mohicans, and Cliffhanger, amongst others. I like the score too. I really
thought you were
noticed
just saying cliffhanger, and then you weren't going to tell us. Like, say it, dude.
The biggest part, and the score really like blends into the movie, so you don't. I guess I just don't notice it a lot, but it gives you the feelings. But the part where I noticed it the most, and that's when I was like, I got to look up who did the score. Is the right when she gets into the labyrinth and she's running down, and there's no turns, and she's going down the straight thing, and it's that like synthy, but like guitar kind of like thing going on. I really like that.
I thought you were really going to like that.
Of course,
it doesn't have a feel of a musical, even though you kind of could put it as a musical. It's tough. It's tough.
And this is why I figured you would like it, because it's unlike like Rock of the
Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
Thank you. Like that one, it's not technically a musical, but there's a lot of songs in it.
And this, maybe I don't care if you want to call it a musical. Maybe I don't care because it's David Bowie. It's like, well, I could just fucking watch these forever.
He's a fucking god.
Yeah. I wasn't huge on his music.
When I was younger, I really wasn't. Yeah.
But it wasn't anything. I never owned an album. I never skipped it, but I never owned an album. When he died, I was bummed just because of who he was as a person.
Correct.
And what he did for
everything.
I don't know, dudes that wanted to either be gay or be bi or just fucking simply wear a dress.
Yeah.
Like, David Bowie was a real one.
Fucking golf clap.
I was never really that familiar with David Bowie. I mean, I heard songs because my parents listened to like classic rock stations, so stuff played until I saw this movie. Well, around the time I saw this movie, because I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but my ex was obsessed with David Bowie, not just his balls in this movie,
but also
that was definitely part of it. She just was obsessed with his music. And so that's when I started hearing a lot of it, and I would hear songs and I was like, oh dude, I fucking love that song. That's David Bowie. Cause he did everything from like 60s like psychedelic type rock to like almost disco to like 80s dance pop to like everything in between. I mean, the dude is a fucking chameleon.
One of his most popular ones, I had no idea was him, and that was When the Man Took Over the Moon, or what is it called?
Oh, The Man Who Sold the World?
Yeah, that one.
The one that everybody knows from Nirvana.
Yeah, I was going to say, I grew up with that thinking it was a Nirvana song until I heard the original. I was like, both are bangers.
Yes.
And I do love in the Nirvana.
Completely different.
Yeah.
In the Nirvana recording, and probably not on the radio, they probably cut it, but like when you hear it on streaming or whatever, they play the full thing. Like on the album, he says at the end, it's like, that's a David Bowie song. Like he doesn't try to play it like it was his song.
Oh, when he's like on almost the Unplugged.
Because that's what it's from. It's from the Unplugged album. So because we're talking about David Bowie, want to know some other people who they were considering to play David or Jareth? Very different movies with all four of the people I have written down.
Okay, hold on. I want to guess. I want to try and just guess. Think of one. 86, musician or non?
Yes, musician. They had
Once
to be
they decided it was going to be a musician, that wasn't
Elton John.
No, although that would also be a different movie.
Very different movie.
So we've got Michael Jackson.
Sting.
Yeah, now Michael Jackson would have made the girl feel safer, but not the boys.
Sting was one of them.
Sting was actually Jim Henson's favorite, like front runner for a while.
Until he met Bowie.
Prince.
Watch the fuck out of that.
Which-
That would have been a
That's-
rated R.
That makes me laugh though, because that's like a battle of like, it's a conversation
Who
I've
do you
had
like
with
more?
a friend of ours a few times, because
truck.
we were driving around one day in Phoenix, and out of nowhere he's just like, who was cooler, Prince or David Bowie? And I was like, David Bowie? He's like, that was quick. Like,
I
I have to think about this.
I'm also
He's
going to
like, good.
disagree with you.
Prince,
You can
Prince
disagree all
pulled
you
so
want.
much fucking tail for a guy that shouldn't have.
That's
you know what I
great,
mean?
but, like-
that guy's little. He doesn't have a solid voice when he's not singing. He had a lot of things working against him, and
You
he's
have something wrong with your
arguably
voice?
one of the sexiest dudes, one of the sexiest people that ever lived.
well, but David Bowie's just cooler.
How so? Show your work.
This
well,
is
first of all-
this is where the argument
This
was
was the argument
because I was
for
Prince.
me. For me, first of all, David Bowie's music is better. I am not a fan of Prince's music.
That's not your style. I get it.
You're wrong, but
I mean,
you're wrong that you're not a fan.
I'm also not a fan of the Beatles, and people would tell me I'm wrong there too.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not
not
there.
a fan.
But like, not a fan of his music. Plus, David Bowie is also a weird looking dude. I mean, he looks like a giant goblin man, and that dude also pulled tail from both sides.
He married the
Yeah,
most
but he's-
beautiful black model
He's tall
at
and
a
white.
time where nobody married interracially.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also got the two different color eyes, which wasn't considered a cool thing. He's got weird teeth, British. He's got like
They're
a
not
pointy
that weird
face.
for British.
That's fair. But still, he's a weird looking dude.
I mean, that is a great argument that'll go down in time, depending on your opinion.
It's the Beatles versus Rolling Stones argument for people who like better music.
Except we care.
And then Mick Jagger was also considered, which
Oh,
whole different
God.
movie.
No thanks. Well, it's
Although
funny.
he's kind of a goblin.
It's funny because Keith Richards is in this movie. Isn't he playing Hoggle? I was in the Rolling Stones. Sure you were, Hoggle. Oh, honestly, I know Mick.
I'll never fucking die.
Looks the exact same right now. You find me a picture of Hoggle, and you find me a picture of Keith Richards.
They do look so
It-
much
it's-
alike.
So let's get into the movie a
Let's
little
dive
bit.
in,
It starts
guys.
with Jennifer Connelly cosplaying, which I guess it's supposed to show she's very childish, right? 'Cause-
She's obsessed with fantasy.
So yes, she is in the play cosplaying.
She's in a one-man play on Broadway.
She is. And there's the owl from the introduction is flying around and sits on the stoop and watches her. And she's reenacting a play. And I think it was a play that her mother was in. It's like behind the scenes stuff. Her mother
Okay, 'cause I
was an
didn't get any of
actress.
that.
Yeah, her mother was an actress and she passed away and then father remarried and yada, yada, yada. Now she has a stepson.
I do want to mention, just so people know who Jennifer Connelly is, if they're not familiar. If they haven't seen this movie,
Requiem
whatever.
for a Dream.
yeah, Requiem for a Dream, The Rocketeer. She was in the Hulk, the
Yeah.
Ang Lee version.
Recently in Top Gun Maverick, the sequel.
She was, I didn't know until I saw this on IMDb, but she's Suit Lady in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
The voice inside of his suit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, she's in
like
Top Gun
that.
Maverick. She was in Alita Battle Angel, which is a Robert Rodriguez movie.
A Beautiful Mind.
Blood Diamond, Beautiful Mind. So a lot of stuff. Day the Earth Stood Still. So the one with Keanu Reeves, not the one from the 50s.
Oh my god. She
But-
looks great.
She and you know what? Top Gun Maverick being like the most recent. Well, she was in the Snowpiercer TV show, which I haven't watched. Snowpiercer the movie is great, but I haven't seen the show. But besides the show, the most recent thing is Top Gun Maverick, and she doesn't look that different.
No, she doesn't.
She's taller.
She's taller and she has aged some, but she is gorgeous still.
Yep.
She is absolutely
Those
a
eyebrows
knockout.
still getting it.
Yeah. So she's acting this play and she can't figure out the word. She's like, she can never remember this line.
Always forget that line.
You have
wonder
no
if it'll
power
come
over
back.
me.
Yeah,
don't
but it's
know.
like the
I don't
easiest
think
line though.
so.
It's not like it's like an intricate delivery. It's like you have no power over me.
Yeah.
Remember that right on your fucking arm.
Like, you have.
You have.
I was
Power
gonna
over
say
me?
it's Chekhov's line, but that sounds like a different thing with this being an 80s movie. So
I just did Chekhov's line, man.
And then, like, the clock tower chimes. It's 7:00. She's late. She
Oh.
needs to run home.
Bugger.
Thunder, lightning.
very frightening.
Thank you. Her and her dog Merlin, who is a sheepdog, Absolutely gorgeous dog. Love this
Yeah, this
dog.
is what he does when he's not clocked in to watch the sheep, right?
Yes.
Okay.
he
Gotta watch out for
watches
that
his sheep.
Quixote.
They run home, and as we're watching it, I'm like, God, is this like Portland? Because the streets are so small.
So I looked it up. The outdoor stuff, almost all of this obviously is shot on sets, and that's all in the UK. The park and the house are in the UK, in England. When she's running through the streets and down the alleys or whatever to get home, that's in New York.
Oh, weird.
Right?
I wonder if there was just, like, what do you call it?
Like
extras.
pickups?
Yeah, pickups.
I wonder if they added them in to make it more, or if, I don't know, because there was a few other things filmed in New York, so maybe like they did the couple things in New York, and they were like, run across the street while we're here.
I mean, I
don't
guess,
know.
yeah. 'Cause
Hey,
you
it's
don't
raining.
Need,
It's
you
a
don't-
perfect time.
You don't need like a tenth of these people here.
Yeah.
So it's
I
just
guess-
like, let's
I
just
mean,
pick it up later.
Running across the streets, you want to see cars in the background because she's American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That look American, not British. So maybe that's why.
That makes sense.
Bunch of red fucking phone booths everywhere. I don't think we're in New York, dude.
Hey, what's that one blue phone booth?
So she runs home. She gets to the door, and her stepmother's just standing there. You're late.
Bitch.
Yeah, being bitchy.
Super bitchy. And won't let the wet dog in. Has to make the dog go to the garage. And so she runs in.
I mean, I'm kind of on her side, dude.
Yeah,
like,
but also at least she let him go to the garage.
Yeah.
She wasn't just like, stay outside, you fuck.
yeah, you're
we
muddy.
We would have a towel right there to wipe the dogs off.
Well,
Yeah,
So-
but these are rich hoity-toity folks.
Exactly. It's
They-
also
they
the
would
80s.
have
I would
their-
say this is also the 80s. This is when dogs were almost exclusively outdoor
they
animals.
would have
Exactly.
their maid take care of it. They wouldn't do it.
And then starts a fight. Stepmom's like, we rarely go out. You're out every weekend.
I mean, that's rarely. That's only 1 or 2 days out of 7.
You sound like me trying to explain my drinking.
Those are the days you don't drink?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't drink every day. I take off some days.
And then she runs up to her room. Her father's like, Sarah, we were worried sick. And she's like, sure you were. Runs into her room and gets mad because he stops talking to her.
Like, no, literally, you were gone. We were worried. This isn't like I couldn't call your phone.
Right? This is the 80s.
It's the 80s.
She-
People get
she's-
napped.
In this whole thing, she's just throwing a fucking teenager hissy fit. And it's
Yeah.
really, like, the character is very annoying. And I guess, yeah, but, like, I guess it's just to show that, like, by the end of the movie, she's matured a little bit.
It's an easy way to show growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Because
her
she's
becoming,
literally, like, I'm your slave, and da da da. And I'm like, calm down with
I'm
the slave.
Cinderella.
Yeah.
Like, calm the fuck down. You always make me clean the house and do stuff. I'm like, you were just in the park playing Fantasy Princess.
You got some pretty cool stuff around this room. You got a statue of David Bowie as the Goblin King.
You do.
Yeah.
Your life ain't that bad, princess.
Her
Everything in the movie is in this room. Mm-hmm. You see.
Well, that's why I think it's not. None of it really happened.
and
I was
that's-
going to ask at the end if you thought that or not. If
No,
it
we
was-
can talk about it now. I don't think this movie ever took place. I think it's all just her fantasy in her head.
You think so?
Yeah.
When we got to the end and she's like, when she comes back to the house, she's downstairs instead of upstairs. And I was like, she just picks up this bottle and goes, that guy told me there was just a sugar cube in here.
I was thinking she was drinking the absinthe.
I think the whole thing's just was an allegory for maturity, where she's like, I got to leave these childish things behind. But then there's Ludo and them in the mirror, and like, if you ever need us, and she's like,
Should
yeah,
you
I
need
do
us?
need you, because you can't kill your imagination. You
You
can
can't.
you can become an adult, you can grow up, but you can also keep on to. That's what the movie's telling you, is you can keep on to a little bit of that child. You know, that's just how I see it,
Okay.
and maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Yeah,
that's
but
probably
I just-
exactly what it is.
That's the whole thing. Is it's like, and that's the idea. Is it leaves you to interpret? Did it happen? Did it not
Right.
happen? But like,
And if
she,
you
she
believe-
just took a nap and then woke up and was like, I'm more mature now. Like, that's the confusing part, because like she didn't have an adventure. Or
No,
she
I
just-
think she did have the adventure in her head. Like, it didn't actually happen, but in her, like, she was fantasizing this whole
Lucid
thing.
dream.
Yeah, lucid dream. She did drink some absinthe.
I mean, there were fairies involved.
Green fairies right up front.
But yeah, in the room, like you said, you see a little Ludo doll. You see
a
Sir
Hoggle
Didymus,
book, a Hoggle,
or not Ludo, Hoggle.
You see the Hoggle book holder.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you see a
Where the
little Sir
wild things
Didymus
are.
thing. Where the wild things are is there. The MC Escher painting, Relativity, is hanging on her wall.
Yeah.
Her actual dog's name is Merlin. In the movie, the dog's name is Merlin. And didn't you say Sir Didymus?
Yeah, what's his Ambrosius is the dog's name.
Ambrosius.
So I looked some stuff up, and it looks like in the tales of King Arthur and whatnot, Merlin had a bunch of names because wizard, but it was Ambrosius, I think, was supposed to be his real name, and like Merlin was his like wizard name.
Was his
that's
stage
another
name.
throwback or another like
The
little-
wizard formerly known as Ambrosius.
Yes. That might actually be in the cartoon.
There was a cartoon.
From Merlin?
Sword in the Stone.
Oh, I think you're talking about this.
Oh, yeah. No. Sword in the Stone. So, but yeah, you see everything up in there. You see one of the Fireys is in there.
Which I think for me, solidifies my thought process.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
she's just looking around the room like, oh, man. And I mean, she's reading a book called The Labyrinth, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are these creatures from that book, or are these just fantasy creatures around her room?
Both. I
No,
think
one or
she
the
has
other.
All we know
no.
from the book is the last scene, right? Because that's what she reads at the beginning. She reads in the middle. She reads at the end.
So I mean, I think she's just got her head in this book, you know, and
I've been there.
she's doing a read like choose your own adventure book.
Yeah,
with
in her
David
in her
Bowie.
dreams.
I mean, I had a dream last night about flying and falling all over and over, and it all had something to do with also watching a sequel to Donnie Darko.
Huh.
So I don't know.
I don't know. The last couple of nights, I've
I
had
like
some
that
really
movie.
wicked, intense, very vivid dreams.
Mine have been pretty normal. Like I had a slot machine lever in the side of my face, and every time you pulled it, like the jackpot would be teeth. It's like just kind of normal stuff.
You have super anxiety.
Dude, I hate the teeth.
Not when I'm awake.
I hate the teeth dreams. I wake up and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey guys, after this episode, I really kind of want to go out and get a beer. What are you thinking?
I mean, okay, look, the thing is, I deal with beer so much in my life. I want something else. I'm fine with beer, but I want like a stiff cocktail or a nice glass of whiskey.
You know, the music box is just down the way, and you can get an awesome cocktail, or they even have like Tombstone and other great beers on tap.
The music box, where would I find that?
Oh, you mean the music box at 6951 East 22nd Street in
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona?
Right down there at 22nd and Cole.
Yeah, they've got a great selection of whiskey, gin, tequila, mezcal, other spirits.
Ooh, sometimes they have like pudding shots and jello shots.
You're putting me on.
And depending on the night of the week, we can get karaoke, live music. It's great.
Ooh, on happy hour it's Wednesday. It's on happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm in. You guys are selling me.
Let's go to the Music Box Lounge right
Woo!
now.
Let's go.
Sharks of the Corn? Virus shark? Cocaine shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
She sees her wall and one of her stuffed animals is missing, and she's like, Lancelot.
This is the only thing that makes me think it actually did happen.
Exactly.
Because it's now on
'Cause it moves.
Toby's the kid.
Yeah.
Look at you remembering names.
The only reason I got that is because I thought my name was Toby until I was like 9 or 10. That's what my entire family called me, was Toby Jack.
Okay.
My dad always wanted a kid named Toby, but we all had to be J names.
Can I call you Toby now?
Sure.
All right.
Because it's called you
Tobias or
Job.
Toby Jack. Job.
Gob?
Joe Bias. No, it's Go Bias, and Go Bias a cup of coffee.
So she runs in, and Toby's screaming. He's crying like a little baby.
He's being a kid.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's being a teething, doesn't want parents gone baby.
Yeah.
So
Rub a
the,
little whiskey in his gums, dude.
the kid originally was supposed to be named Frank, but the kid who's playing him is named Toby Froud. He's the son of like one of the designers on the show, the lead designer.
And the actress inside of Hoggle. That's his mother.
Oh, dope. Okay.
But apparently this little 1-year-old baby is just a terrible actor because
Dude, I'm sorry, but I didn't know on this show we were just going to start berating 1-year-old actors. I knew there's a cutoff. It's embryonic, isn't it?
No.
Stupid baby can't even kick on cue.
that fetus was terrible. Because he wouldn't respond to Frank, so the name got changed to Toby because that's the only way he would respond to any of the actors.
Gotcha.
That makes
Stupid
sense.
1-year-old
Toby's better
baby.
than Frank anyway.
Yeah.
And this is his only acting role, but he did get into the movies. Toby Froud, that is not fictional character from the movie. He does special effects and puppets. He's a sculptor, designer, character fabricator, and he worked on stuff like Chronicles of Narnia, the Dark Crystal Netflix show.
It's probably because when he closes his eyes, he sees goblin armies.
Right?
The one that looked cool to me. I haven't seen it yet, but he worked on. He was a character fabricator for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio,
Oh, I still haven't seen that either.
Neither
which
have we.
I'm sure is wonderful
Yeah.
because it's Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And
continue.
Pinocchio's a dark ass fucking story.
Yeah, exactly.
So she grabs Toby out of the crib and is telling him a story about how he has this wonderful sister who is treated like a slave and has a terrible stepmother and cries.
She's living that worst life.
She is. And then she tells him the story about how the Goblin King is in love with her or in love with this girl. And all she has to say is the right words. And
it's funny because all I could think of while she was bitching about how terrible her life is yesterday we all got together and just watched Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, not for the podcast, just to watch a movie.
To save the friendship.
And all I could think of was Will Scarlet being like, oh, little rich boy.
Yeah.
Like she's up there like, and I'm a slave and I'm this and that. And I'm like, shut up, little rich girl.
I'm going to go up to my room. It's on the 3rd floor of the East Wing. That's how I know you're not a slave.
well, that was the servants' quarters, the East Wing.
I didn't have those in the house.
And then
They're in the garage with the dog.
they have their own entrance. Sorry, cut that.
I mean, it's not wrong.
What was I saying? Oh, and then she goes to turn off the lights and she's like, I really wish the Goblin Kings would take you away. Baby stops crying.
Yep.
Baby's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny when she's leading up to that because she's like, I wish, and like they start cutting to the goblins when you see the first puppets. Dude, and these goblins are both creepy and adorable.
Uh-huh.
And that one big fat dumb one.
Did you say it?
Yeah, she just says, I wish. Did she say it? Shut the fuck up.
She said the magic word.
Shut it!
Ah!
But yeah, like as soon as she says it, the crying stops.
Is it Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Heiny Ho?
Yeah.
And then that baby has to go?
Yes.
I mean, that is correct.
And then she has, this is like the definition of like instant regret, right?
Correct.
Like she walks out of the room and the baby stops.
She has wisher's remorse.
Yeah. The baby stops crying and she's like, well, fuck.
Damn it.
Toby! And then this owl appears on, like, the owl starts flapping on the windows and somehow they burst open and in comes...
Somehow it's a barn owl. They're accomplished beasts.
They are. And then it transforms into the beautiful David Bowie.
Hello.
It's playing Jareth.
Oh, Jareth.
The Goblin King.
I want... If she was a boy, her name would have been Jareth. Mm-hmm. Like 1,000%.
I like you point. You point.
I
But
do
anybody
point.
listening to the podcast would be thinking that you're talking about Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, no,
not
if
your
my daughter was my son, his name would have been Jareth.
I mean, it's the coolest person ever to be named Jareth.
And
That's a guarantee.
David Bowie's been in other movies, most of which I've never seen, and now some of these like I've wanted to see anyway, and now that I know he's in it, I'm like, well, now I gotta watch it. Especially,
I know he's in Zoolander.
So yeah, as himself. Like he's in a couple things as himself, but as like characters. So he did a movie before this called The Man Who Fell to Earth, which I'm sure is awesome. Apparently, he was in Last Temptation of Christ, which is Martin Scorsese, Willem Dafoe as Jesus.
They had to get a stunt cock for that.
Did they?
Yeah,
stunt cock.
You don't know this?
No.
Willem Dafoe's penis was confusingly large. They had to when they were doing the scenes.
Is he also not circumcised?
I don't know. They were confused how large it was. But you said Scorsese?
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe it was the guy doing the actual shots, but someone's like, we can't have that dick in this shot.
Jesus can't have that big of a dick.
Yeah.
It's going to make all those people feel bad.
Jesus isn't supposed to hang rope. So look it up on your own time. Willem Dafoe's dick, Last Temptation of Christ.
But he's in that
incognito mode.
He's in that playing Pontius Pilate.
Okay.
I did see him he's in Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, which is the movie. He plays Philip Jeffries, and he's in The Prestige as Tesla, which I've never seen The Prestige either.
Nope. Never.
That's with
I get
Christian
confused
Bale.
Because there's also one with
Well,
Hugh
I'm going to watch
Grant.
The Prestige because The Prestige was a Christopher Nolan movie, and it's one of the only ones I haven't seen. So
okay.
I got to watch it. But.
Yeah. Get on it, punk.
It's very tasty whiskey, by the way.
And he did pass away in 2016. So rest in pictures.
It's when the world really started going to shit.
Hey, really, look at all the people we lost in 2016.
Well, no, I mean, everyone dies. He just, there's a wake of just shit storm after he died.
He was protecting us. He was our Godzilla.
Yep. And we shot him down.
But yeah, so she's trying to tell him, I didn't mean it. And we get a Oh, didn't you?
You said the words.
No take backsies.
And this is when we first see his balls, the crystal ones.
Yeah. Oh, and you know the fun story behind that, right?
Yeah, it's not him.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
So-
this super dope magician guy.
Well, it's great
Michael-
because David Bowie was there, obviously.
Yeah.
They had this guy, Michael Motion, which is a great name for a juggler / ball handler. And basically, he had to hide behind David Bowie and stick his arms out.
They're
through...
playing Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what they were doing. And we watched some stuff from the behind the scenes where it's like the guy trying to do his tricks, but he has to do it completely blind because
Yeah.
he's ducking behind David Bowie. And he keeps like dropping the ball and stuff. And David Bowie's being a great sport about
He's
it. And he's just
laughing.
kind of chuckling. But you can see Michael Motion just like, motherfucker, get the ball. Do the ball.
I gotta do this for David fucking Bowie, man. It's the best your life is ever gonna be.
His face was pressed right here on his back, lower
Oh,
back.
I hope he got a little tutor.
Oh.
Just a little.
Oh, and I want to mention, because I'm going to mention all 4 of the songs. Is it 4 or 5?
He wrote 5, performed 4.
Yeah. The first one is called Underground, and that's what's playing at the beginning. It's a great song because it's David Bowie. But sorry, I just saw that in my notes, and I was like, I want to mention all the songs because he basically made it an EP for this movie.
Yes, he did.
It's got to be a good selling soundtrack.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it only had 5 songs unless they were putting the score on there, but still.
5 songs on repeat.
Yeah.
Hello.
But sorry, I just had to talk about the ball man.
You're great.
I just want to talk about David Bowie's balls. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was saying if you want, go ahead and take the lead.
So the crystal ball turns into a snake and freaks her out.
Sneaky snake.
A sneaky snake.
I do want to bring this up because I just watching it, I thought it was a great shot. He throws the snake at her, and it turns into a scarf around her neck, like while the snake is. It's a really good transition.
It really is.
From snake to scarf. And I don't know, it looked fucking clean for 1986.
A lot of good visual trickery in this.
Yeah.
And you know, most of it's in camera type stuff because we're talking, before CG, except for the owl. And like when we see the labyrinth here, like they look out her window and there's the labyrinth and the castle and the Goblin City, and that's clearly like a matte painting. And I kind of miss the days of matte paintings. I get it, they don't look.
I love me a good matte though.
Yeah, I mean, I get they don't look as realistic, they don't have depth, whatever. But this is fucking phenomenal.
It's tremendous.
And like it goes looking out the window to the labyrinth and then cut back to them, and all of a sudden they're outside, not inside.
I thought that was a beautiful transition too.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of those. We're not going to be able to like talk about all of them, but like watching it, the snake scarf was just awesome.
And I've got something to go back and find. So there was apparently 2 video games made based on this movie. One in Japan, one in the US. Different games completely, but they both involve having to solve a labyrinth in 13 hours.
Oh, okay.
Like the player only has 13 hours of gameplay to solve the labyrinth.
I had an analog, I almost said analog video game. That's not how that works. I had an analog game that was a labyrinth, but you had a marble
Yeah.
and you tilted the
wood?
board.
My
Yeah,
mom
yeah.
had that.
She has one of those in her room.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
loved that.
And that's where the oubliette is, the when you fall underneath.
Shut up. Okay. It's where you put people to
Oh,
forget about them.
Yeah, oubliettes are real.
My life is an oubliette.
Derek taught me something though. Do you know
Yeah.
what oubliette means?
No.
It's French
Oh,
for
well, I figured that.
To forget.
Ah.
And
I will try not to oubliette that.
and they were real. And basically, they were dungeons with one entrance and exit at the top, very far up. And they would throw people in there and basically forget about them and let them starve to death.
Huh.
So that's fun. And those
Eventually,
people,
you throw somebody in there and they just like come right back up. Like, dude, there are so many dead bodies down here. I was able to build a body ladder.
they like that, and that's the thing, right? Like somebody dies down there, the next guy gets thrown in. He's like, "Oh, gross."
Oh no!
Well, at least I got something to eat. I don't know. But they didn't have magic dwarves with super cool doors that go 2 ways to help them. So
Yeah,
they really died.
they didn't have Keith Richards.
Well, we meet Keith Richards.
Yes, we do. He's at this fountain peeing.
As a Keith Richards will do.
Yes.
That's why he's not
sorry.
allowed back at the Alamo.
I would wait till they're done before I'm like, excuse me.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like, best case scenario, they wait. Otherwise, they're gonna turn around while peeing.
Yeah.
Hello? What do you want?
And Hoggle is one of the most complicated puppets they had on set.
Yes.
So 5 people to make Hoggle work. Well,
Okay.
6 technically if you're
No,
talking
5.
with the voice, because there was Sherry Weiser who's inside.
Yes.
There are 4 puppeteers controlling 18 different motors.
Brian Henson
and then
was
Brian,
one
A lot of them
oh,
on
was
the
he one of the
puppeteers,
puppeteers?
A lot of
Okay.
them on the face.
There's a person doing the face, there's a person doing the hands, and there's a person doing...
There was 3 people doing the face.
Okay, maybe it was... I can't remember. I read about it, and I don't remember now. Maybe it was like one person just for like the eyes and one person for the mouth. And
it's articulated very, very well, though. There's a couple points where he's like, I'm only looking out for me, and he's smacking his chest, and like it's a very captivating puppet performance.
And they talk about that, right? Like,
they did in the behind the scenes.
Yeah, about like
they
how much coordination
months.
it took, because Brian Henson's like, well, I'm gonna go. So then they have to have the mouth do that, and they have to have Sherry Weiser move that way.
Yeah.
And they have to get all that right, because Hoggle is basically the second lead of this movie.
Yes.
He's on camera more than anything else besides Jennifer Connelly.
I mean, I'm sure they're not listening, but if any of them that did this are, your work is appreciated.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. So she's like, excuse me, do you know how I can get into the labyrinth? And he's just ignoring her. And
56? 57.
Squirting fairies.
Oh, say it better than that.
Gassing fairies.
Gassing fairies.
It's like
squirting fairies sounds like you have diarrhea after drinking absinthe.
I mean, doesn't that happen?
I wouldn't want to tell you.
Isn't there a part in the original Donkey Kong where Mario is like spraying little things with a...
That's the same like plunger.
Oh no, it's not Donkey Kong. It's another game almost exactly like that.
Godfather.
Though. No. That's another game like that where you have like a little plunger thing and you're trying to squirt little like bugs and creatures.
Yeah,
and
I didn't play it.
Squirt.
So I wouldn't know.
Squirt. Speaking of Alex Thompson.
Yes. And then she calls him a monster and that he's rude, and picks up one of the fairies, and she's like, it fucking bit me.
Well, what did you expect?
What did you think fairies did?
Grant
wishes and stuff?
Something.
Shows what you know.
Yeah, he's an asshole, but like he's right.
But this is where you learn that there's a specific way to ask things.
Yes.
Not just tell me where it's at. Not demand it. Not you tell me.
I appreciate Hoggle for being who he is. He's open. He's like, I'm looking out for myself, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a coward. I don't
Hoggle is Hoggle's friend.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things like that, though. It's like, hey, ask nicely. Don't take things for granted, which is the next one coming up.
Yep.
Not everything seems to be not everything is what it seems to be.
Yeah.
And how does she ask it? Is it, how do you get into the labyrinth?
I don't remember exactly.
How do you get to the castle?
Well, no, it's like, how do you get into the labyrinth?
And it's another one of those magic
things.
things.
Because there's no doors.
Because he's like, you get in right there. And she turns around and there's a door that wasn't there 2 seconds ago.
Exactly. And then we come to my favorite part.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Is this the doors?
No, this is, she's running. She can't figure out where she's going. She throws a fit and sits down. And then you hear, hello.
Hello.
Did you say hello?
No, I said hello. That's close enough. Come
that
inside.
little fucking worm is awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I remember the worm well, because
Yep.
again, I didn't see this movie until I was a teenager. But like when we just watched this a couple months back in the theater, I was like, "Oh, this little worm's a character."
No,
it's not really a character.
I mean, it is, but it's gone.
Yeah,
you do not come back, and I wish you were fucking Chekhov's worm.
I wish too. In fact, one of my friends has had a picture of this worm as their Facebook profile for like 5 years.
Well, you know what I noticed? The worm says you're not once it tells her or helps her find this optical illusion door right in front of her, which looks great on camera. But I'm like, if you're sitting across from it,
you're
going
gonna
to see the
that
opening. But and it tells her she's going the wrong way. Whatever, she goes right.
Never go that way.
But it's funny because he says you're going the wrong way. And then she ends up going right, which turns out to be the right way, right?
Because it's a shortcut. If you go, you'll never learn anything if you just go to the castle. You have to have a journey. You've got to learn that you're a spoiled little fucking brat.
Later on, too, when she has the 4 guards, the 2-headed guys, she goes through the right door also. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's always going right.
And the knocker.
Yeah.
Which the rule of the dungeon is always go left, in my opinion.
It depends on what you're playing.
Dungeons. And dragons.
I was going to say dragons.
You're playing Dragon's Lair, you just got to memorize left, right.
That's right. That's right.
Is it really that easy?
It's not just left, right, and it's not that easy.
Is it up,
you
down,
do.
up,
It
up,
is
down,
the
down?
same thing over and over, and you do have to memorize it, but it's a lot.
Timing.
It's very long, and it's about the right timing. So.
Okay.
And that was way back before the internet. You couldn't just Google it and then walk in with your fucking phone and be like, all right, so left, right, up,
Yeah.
left, right, down. Like,
No, you had to write it down every step you took.
Oh, dude, that reminds me of fucking Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. The fries by my house had one. We'd go up there with a little piece of paper with all the combos and finishers
Hold
and
on.
fatalities.
Your grocery store had video games?
Yeah, the one at 22nd and
My mom took me the wrong fucking fries. Maybe she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
22nd and the
Dude, I-
22nd and Cold one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one at Golf Links, so whatever it was back then, before
Or
being,
that
being-
might be the one
before being fries, they had a fucking Street Fighter 3, and your boy was good at it. I'd sit
Man.
there and take other like, put your quarter up, dude. You ain't got
I had to go to
I see
skate
that
country.
silver.
I had to go to skate country or golf and stuff to play fucking arcade games.
Oh, you're such a spoiled guy. My life was so bad, I had to go to golf and stuff.
With only $1.
I'm over here getting abandoned at grocery stores, and he's like, "That's cool."
That sounds great.
You didn't have to walk
I guess I am
around.
talking to the wrong audience.
Instead of walking around the grocery store with my mom getting yelled at because I'm like, can I have that? Can I have that? Can I have that? And she's like, shut the fuck up. You can't have anything, you little shit.
You will get nothing.
And you will like it.
No, I won't, though.
So now we're at my favorite part of the movie.
David Bowie's crotch.
That's a huge part of this.
Hold on, wait. This is a really good part.
Yeah, this is Dance Magic, or I think
no,
I think the
it's-
song is actually Magic Dance. But
It's called, you remind me of the babe.
What, babe?
The babe of the power.
what power?
The power of voodoo.
Hoodoo.
You do.
Remind me of the babe?
Do
I-
what?
All right, I don't know.
You fucked it up. It's
Look,
fine.
this is the
Remind me of
fourth
the
time
babe.
I was
I've
gonna say you fucked up my favorite movie, Derek. Divorce.
You know what? Let's start doing Star Wars lines. Okay, ready?
Okay.
I can't think of any right now except for ones you would know.
Exactly.
Point proved.
I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry.
Yeah, I love this
What
song.
could I do?
I love this scene. And this scene is insane. So
Oh my God.
The amount of
40s.
moving pieces in here.
48 puppets,
Yep.
52 puppeteers, and 8 people in goblin costumes.
Yeah.
Plus
And all
David
these-
Bowie and a baby.
Actually, not as many puppeteers as I would have thought for 48 puppets, honestly.
Yeah.
They
But these are
had-
smaller ones, so you're not. Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but these are smaller ones, so you don't have like the hoggle effect. Of,
There's like a lot of them are ones that come out of the wall and stuff like that. Like one
Yeah.
of the guys in the thing we watched was saying like when the set's empty, like when they're not shooting, he's like the set looks like Swiss cheese because it's just a
That
room
makes
full of
perfect
holes.
sense. That makes perfect sense. What were you
But there's
saying,
a
Mama?
fun thing. The little people that are in the costumes, like the one goblin you love, that's like, she say it. Those life-size goblins are on pulleys, and there's like men throwing them like
When they're doing the
8 feet
jumps.
in the
Yeah.
air.
They're
Yeah.
just pulling
Gotcha.
down on these ropes and lifting them.
No,
in
it's
the air.
cool. It is up there with. I mean, I love all these scenes except one. We'll get there. There's just one scene I could pass out during and be fine.
Okay.
The best part of this entire music
Baby.
video is when David Bowie starts dancing with Toby and then just throws this fucking baby like 10 feet in the air
And walks away.
You know, everybody knows me. It's clearly a dummy, but he just hucks this baby in the air and walks away. And when we watched this a month or so ago at the theater, again, it's been years since I've seen it. I was like, that baby's going to eat shit. I was
baby is dead.
He's like,
That baby's in fucking orbit
We're in
now.
a theater like full of people because they had one showing of this movie and then they added a second showing because that sold out and then they added a third showing because that sold out. It
Damn.
was supposed to be a one night special event.
Talk about cult classic.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and here's the
cult
crazy
following.
thing. It was supposed to be a one night special event with one show. They ended up with 3 that night. The following week, they played the movie all week
Yeah,
because the shows kept selling out.
because nothing coming out is better.
Fair. I mean, that was the week Dune came out, but this is
Also-
also half the length of Dune.
I said what I
what's the
said.
what's the age
Eat it.
of what's the age of all the people that love this movie the most?
What's my age again?
Exactly.
Where's
What's
my
our
Asian
age?
friend?
28 or 24.
28
How's
is my
the song
favorite
go?
number.
23.
Nobody likes you when you're 23.
There you go. One of them numbers.
Nobody likes me. I'm almost 43.
But you got a bunch of 40-year-olds that A, have grown-ass children like myself, or B, have little children, and they're like,
Introducing 'em.
guess what? We can go to a movie that they'll sit through.
Or
Can you
C,
imagine?
that are just me and Whitney sitting in this watching it with no children.
That's what I'm saying. We have grown-ass children and can do what we want to.
Imagine showing your kid this movie with this. I never
I
saw
did.
this.
I
I never
showed
saw this in
Zoe.
theaters. No.
Oh.
Having to explain the size of that crotch on that screen. Just thank God it wasn't Willem Dafoe.
She wanted to come with us, but she ended up having to work.
Gotcha.
So she was a little sad.
There's another little bit where she's trying to find her way through the labyrinth, and she has a good idea, which is use her lipstick, to draw little arrows on the tiles.
It's a solid idea, but then you get the brownies from Willow.
Yeah, these little fucks.
I grew up
Stupid
thinking,
Daikini.
I grew up thinking they were saying something else, but he says your mother is a maggot aardvark.
Something like
Okay,
that.
thank God, because the subtitles just say your mother's an aardvark, and I'm like, there is a word that rhymes with maggot that begins with an F that
And
I thought
that's-
that they said for sure.
That's what
and
I
I
grew
can't
up
remember
thinking they
exactly
said.
what the subtitle said, but it was like your mother is a something aardvark.
It's
My
said maggot
subtitles
aardvark.
straight up just said aardvark, so I was like, huh, did it say the F-bomb? And then we're going to move on from that.
Well, and we could clearly hear that what he said matched the subtitles.
Yes.
But also I'm like, yeah, but this is the new 4K release. Did they
put
change
that in
it?
there?
Did you George Lucas that?
Exactly.
Did they?
George Lucas is a producer. He's like, man, I'm out of fucking movies to change. What do we got?
Okay, hear me out. We make that guy say something completely different.
So I know that Jim and a bunch of people worked real hard on Hoggle. But I've got a Sebulba.
So I was actually very pleased to see that, because that was the one thing I was like, I can't believe they put that in there.
Yeah.
This isn't Disney.
Yeah. I love these little guys. And they probably are precursor for brownies. Willow's
think
not too many
so.
years after this.
Yeah, I would imagine it's, they're little tiny people that go,
Yep.
so.
Pretty much.
Oh, you right down the walkie walk.
But right then she figures out, that's when she's like, this is unfair. You're not
Yeah.
playing fair. Life lesson. Life's not fucking
Yeah,
fair.
And
You know
what do
what?
you mean it's not fair? Turns around, there was a dead end, and now there's doors.
Yeah. And then when.
That's not the dead end.
Exactly.
This is the dead end. That's the dead end behind you.
Exactly. And then that's closed. And now she's just stuck with these weird two-headed dog creatures where one head is on the shoulders and the other head is its dong.
They're 69ing.
No,
dude.
you see a foot and a hand next to each head.
So they're both holding on to a shield.
Okay, so they're like one standing on his hands and one
Did
standing
you ever
on his
see
feet.
the cartoon Cat Dog? It's nothing like that.
That's what I was imagining.
Yeah.
No,
Cat dog
it's-
creatures.
I think it's two separate bodies, right?
No, I want to say it's torsos connected, and one arm is an arm and a hand, and the other one is a leg and a foot, and the other half just.
I'm going to have to look into
Flip
that
it and
because my
reverse it.
entire life I've thought it was just two people doing that for no good reason.
You only see two hands and 2 feet. So
I thought it was
right
just a
hand,
dog with a head for a dick.
Normally,
so.
I'd argue this point, but we are talking about Whitney's mental health movie, and I am fucking outclassed. I'm outgunned right now. I got nothing for this fight.
This is so one door leads to the castle, the other door leads to certain death.
And this is where the
And
only
one
thing
of us always lies.
the only thing we do to punch this up is add Billy Crystal and Carol Kane right here.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I think that I
Liar! Liar!
Yeah, it'd be good here or the Knockers, but then one Knocker really doesn't. It just yells.
That
I
would've
can't
been-
hear anything.
that would have
Yeah.
been Billy Crystal.
So how does
Can't
she
hear you.
deduce this though? Like my stupid fucking brain doesn't grasp.
Oh,
So her logic, I follow it mostly.
yeah, I do. She's like, well, you said if
So
you
she-
say
what does she ask him?
one of us always tells the truth, one of us lies. She's like, so what would he say this door does?
Or would he say this? It has to be a yes or no
Oh yeah.
question.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Would
so
he
would he
say-
say this door goes to the castle? And then he confers with his
Dick.
crotch goblin, I guess. And he goes, yes. And then she's like, well, then that would be the door.
Because if he's telling the truth, it is.
And you're lying.
And if you're telling the truth and he says that that's the door, then he's lying. So it does make sense. But it even confuses them because she's like, is that right? Or no, one of the dog's creatures says, is that right? And the other one's like, I don't know. I never understood it.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these doors doesn't actually lead to certain death.
They both just lead to the castle.
They somehow. Like there's a different
That's
path.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I love the scene.
Yes.
And then
It
we
is.
get
It's
to
fun.
my actual favorite scene of this
Ooh,
movie.
you say your favorite scene
the
now.
hands. I loved these hands
Which way
growing
do you
up. They
want to
didn't get any worse. So basically, it's really cool because I used to do this growing up
The hand
all the
puppets?
time. Yeah, I would make faces with my hands and have it talk and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I didn't have a lot
These
of
are
friends.
really complex though, because it's like 5 or 6 hands doing some of these faces.
Yeah.
Like, and there's even one that has like a mustache.
Uh-huh.
Because the 2 hands go down with their fingers out, and then a third hand comes up underneath underneath to do the lip, and the mustache.
You could see his hand gestures. Derek just tossed a dude off and gave his little basket of howdy.
I should be taking a video of this and posting this.
But
That's TikTok available. Like
the mustache is even like twitching when it's talking. It's fucking great.
It is phenomenal.
So this is my favorite scene for that reason. I know, like, it's just because it makes you think it's certain death, and then they're all helping her. We're helping hands.
She chose down.
She chose down.
Wait, is that wrong? Too late now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And her reasoning is correct. Like, well, I was already up there. Like, that's where I came from.
Although, based on what we've seen so far, that doesn't matter. If she goes back up, she's in a different place.
She's not scared. Don't be scared of new adventures in life.
Yeah.
Life lesson.
There you go. Also, she's pointed that way anyway.
Mm-hmm. These were like 80 something. Like I think I read like 80 something like foam latex hands. Yeah. And like Jim Henson said, like the foam latex people were working overtime trying to make all these.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because this little tunnel that she's going down they really built this thing, and it's all these. I mean, it's obviously got an open side, but it's really all these people with their hands in these things.
I want to say it was like a 6-foot tunnel, right? So there's
something like that. Yeah. So there's a bunch, and then like she gets further down, but they've got to rejigger
really
everything. And
yeah. No, that's. I mean, the again, hard work pays off here.
I don't think that even said they had her on a line. I think they were just holding her.
Maybe I didn't get that part. I think I was making a sandwich.
I was watching all those hands with very respectful holds on her because I'm like, please don't like make me regret this being my favorite scene by watching somebody cop a feel on a 14-year-old girl. But no, everyone's placed very well. Like, I got you, but I don't gotcha.
Yeah, it's like the proper cheerleader hold, not the improper.
Well, it goes along with, I told Whitney, I was like, I have some behind the scenes info about Jim Henson because we won't get to talk about it again.
I was so scared.
And she was like, are you going to tell me what a piece of shit he was?
Yeah, I'm going to leave if this is going to get nasty. Turns out that he used to keep dogs in his basement until he forgot about them.
Turns out that's where,
came from?
What's that guy? The football player with the dog fights.
Oh, Michael Vick.
Yeah, it turns out that's where Michael Vick got it from. He learned it from Jim Henson.
You know what? No. Jim Henson was a great man. I'm going to say something about
Michael
Vick.
Fuck him.
He did his time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give him a pass. But unlike a lot of these people that actually, like, in the NFL that beat their wives or get DUIs or, like, abuse somebody.
Continuously.
He got jail time.
Yeah.
Like, legit federal pounding in this prison and did his time and came back. So.
Did he play the longest yard while he was in there?
No, he got played Willem Dafoe. It was about a yard. But no, I don't want to harp on it. But I think like Vic was an absolute piece of shit for doing what he did.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of pieces of shit right now that are playing that aren't held accountable for anything. So
yeah, I mean,
I appreciate you for saying
might
that.
Be president. So she.
I'm supposed to listen to the episode to hear that, aren't I?
You are.
She runs into Hoggle at the bottom of the obulette, and David Bowie's pissed. Because she shouldn't have got this far, he says, right?
You see this ball come running by, and then you can see Hoggle going, oh, fuck. And then this little merchant just like...
It is the beggar that Robin Hood is dressed up as in the cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah, almost exactly.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
And it's great. I mean, obviously this is a puppet, and when we get the other shot and it stands up and it's David Bowie, like it's different shot.
Another good transition.
Yeah, it still looks like the puppet
phenomenal.
from the wider shot, and it stands up and it's David Bowie.
And you get the great line, nothing, tra-la-la.
Dude, like I've seen this movie a lot, but I was just like, tra-la-la. I gotta start saucing up my conversations a little bit. What are you doing later, Derek Diddley D?
Yes, Higgle, what is that plastic thing around your wrist?
Oh, because she gave him the jewelry.
Yeah,
So
and it's funny because he's like, ooh, what's that made of? And she's like, plastic. And he's like, ooh, plastic.
Scourge of humanity, I've heard.
There is a bit there, too, with, I think it might, right after, I don't know, they're going through the tunnels, and there's the false alarms, all the big faces on the wall. They're like, you're going the wrong way.
Oh.
And I love the last two, because the one says something, and he's like, shut up. He's like, I'm just doing my job.
You
think I like being a face on this wall?
Come on, it's been
we don't
such
get a
long
lot of
time.
visitors.
Yeah, that's the other one I like.
Oh,
he's
It's
like,
been such a long time.
Yeah, don't even say it. Okay, fine, you can say it, but don't expect a big reaction.
Of course not.
I mean, what a terrible plight in life.
I love Jareth asks her, like, so how are you liking my labyrinth?
It's a piece of cake.
Yeah. He's like,
It's
oh,
a
really?
piece of coffee cake, okay?
And then Hoggle's just like, oh, shit, don't say that.
Exactly. Because then he's like, oh, really? Well, how about this? 4 hours off the clock.
Not cool.
No. And that makes me wonder in those video games, is there something you can do to piss off Jareth and get 4 less hours to play?
Yeah, I'm sure there's like you do the wrong thing. Something you do, you make him wear loose pants. And he's like, that's it, 4 hours off of your journey.
Yeah, because this costume that David Bowie's wearing, well, multiple costumes, but the main one, I'm pretty sure he brought this from home.
Oh, yeah. No, he showed up on set and they're like, no notes. No notes.
No, they do have video.
He had the makeup and everything.
That makeup is being used today. The eyeshadow going down the
Okay, let's talk about his eyebrow makeup that I'm in love with. It has like his eyebrow come up into a point
on the side,
and then there's a gap, and then there's a line going down to under his eye. Like,
yes, the eyeshadow.
Beautiful.
And in an interview we watched with him, he had that face like eye makeup.
Yeah.
But I was like, so are they interviewing him like when he took off the wig and
put
like
on
the
his normal
costume,
clothes? Yeah.
or is this an interview done much later for DVDs and that's just how he had his makeup?
Or
still?
just how he showed up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
He's like, you want Jareth? I will give
because
you
it's not like when they filmed these movies, they were doing a bunch of behind the scenes interviews with people. It's like you didn't have special features.
Yeah, and especially like you said, it didn't do well.
Yeah.
No one would have been thinking about this.
Yeah. But she starts crying about the clock. That's not fair.
Nothing's fair.
You say that a lot.
I wonder what you put your basis on.
My biological clock is ticking, and you just took 4 fucking hours off of it.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. I'm going to call my cousin Vinny. I know he's not my cousin, but that's the movie. I won an Oscar. Look into it. I was also an Oscar.
Joe Pesci needs those 4 hours, okay?
Yeah, he does. He's got to prepare. Can't wait to do that movie.
And then they crawl up a ladder because the cleaners.
Yeah, he summons up the cleaners, which I just want to talk about real quick because I love this fucking thing.
There's 3 puppets on it.
It's the big wheel of knife death.
It looks similar to the drill ship things that the foot soldiers and stuff had in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
100%.
Or also that stupid movie The Core, but this is Ninja Turtles is better. Like it has that coming at him. It's the drills and it's cleaning cobwebs and stuff out of the pipes or the tunnels, right?
Also
but then when it
people.
passes them, it's not this big wicked machine. It looks like it's 3 little goblins. Like 2 of them are cranking a thing to turn the
like
drill.
standing it with their
It
motion.
might as well be a power wheel.
Yeah,
With
because one
a
dude is
battering
on
ram on the front.
the one fucking goblin is on like it basically looks like one of those big wheel unicycles. I like it. I think the design was great because it's like this wicked machine coming and it passes them and it's just like.
Yeah, it's a fantastic shot because you would not expect it to be that.
No.
It's menacing. It's dark. It's dangerous. It's 3 puppets.
And they crawl up a ladder and out of a flower pot.
Right into the hedge mage from Hedge Mage. Good God, Hedge Maze.
Hedge
from,
mage? Is that like a really rich mage? Like he's a hedge fund baby, but also he knows magical powers?
Yes.
I command you to make me more money.
I was thinking a druid, but I like yours better.
Yeah. Ooh, hedge mage would be a druid. All right. That's nerdy as shit, though.
But the hedge maze looks. This is another thing that reminded me of Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Because there's the hedge maze thing in there, and then the cards, and these little fucking Jawa knights kind of remind me of the card soldiers.
I really
100%.
enjoy the Jawa Knight puppetry. You know, because you see what they did. These are Halloween costumes now, where it's their legs are the creature's legs.
Correct.
I'm talking about like the people inside.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I didn't know if I explained that well enough. And then their hands are their hands, obviously.
Yeah, and
so
the legs
the-
hanging off the side are just fake puppet legs.
One of the hands is their hands. The other hand is inside,
right.
controlling the head.
Well, I
But
think
they have
that
a
that
hand
one.
on top.
I think that one on top is guiding where the head
Nope.
looks.
It's in the special features.
Yeah. No, I believe. Again, I'm bowing to your fucking prowess.
So they have the costume. They have the hand already on the head.
Okay.
So their arm is inside.
And then the other
they're
one's doing their
And
sword.
the other one has either
the-
the sword or the reins. Or,
Yeah.
Well, not the reins because the head is.
No, that's what they had their javelins or
Yeah.
spears.
So the other one is doing that control.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It
I
is
mean,
super
it's
dope.
probably at the time innovative. We've seen it now.
Yeah.
You can buy a Halloween costume where you're a dinosaur with somebody riding you, as it were.
Yeah.
Or an alien.
You know, or an alien carrying you you away. But at this time,
Or
dude,
those
this
great
is
ones you
fucking
see
awesome.
online I do not advocate putting costumes or clothing on animals.
As you shouldn't.
But those ones for dogs, especially like the Ewok ones, where it's like it goes on their front paws and then
Yeah.
over their heads, so when it's running at you, it looks like a little Ewok.
I mean, I saw little
I really like-
dachshund as Chucky.
With the knife.
Yeah, like that made me laugh. Do it to your dog, not my
funny.
cat.
Yeah, some dogs like it. Our dog does not like clothing.
Sedona likes it.
I think that's what you do. If your animal's like, fuck yeah, I'll wear some clothes, buy it a Batman costume and show me.
Yeah.
But if your animal's like, no, then that into the conversation.
Candy
Yeah,
does
exactly.
not, and that's why we don't.
And if you
Yeah,
don't have
we
a
got
conversation
Candy-
with your animal, you're not really a pet owner, are
Oh,
you?
we have
We
conversations.
got
all the
Candy
time.
a Guardians of the Galaxy T-shirt to wear while we were in Portland because it's cold. Not a fan. We did have her wear it there because it's cold.
Yeah.
But after that was it. This is where she meets the wise man, who is puppeted by Frank Oz. I don't think he did the voice.
No, it was Brian Henson again.
Like I said, it's hard to tell. Like
I was
when
watching
you
the
look it up
credits.
online, I mean.
Brian Henson is a phenomenal voice actor. He can change his voice on command in any way.
Well, he learned it
I mean,
from-
just his hoggle alone is fucking dope.
He learned it from his dad because Jim Henson didn't do any voices for this.
I learned
but,
it from watching you, Dad.
but he did. He's Kermit. He's Ralph. He's multiple Muppets.
Yeah.
And actually, fun story, just related to Jim Henson. When he passed away, until I think the 2011 Muppets movie, there was no more Ralph. Like no one played Ralph. Like Ralph showed up in movies, but he was always silent.
Yes.
Because that was Jim Henson's favorite character.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that is beautiful.
When they did like the 2011 one,
Stop it. You stop it.
when they did the 2011 one, I think it was, there was somebody playing the voice, but he was a guy who had worked with Jim Henson originally and had helped with that stuff. But
That's absolutely beautiful.
yeah, Kermit was his favorite puppet to use because it was the lightest one.
I still think it was. I
That
still
makes
think
perfect sense.
I still think that I don't know if we were recording when we said that, but he got the
Oh,
voice
yeah,
for
yeah.
Kermit for
Oh,
George
yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he
Oh,
meets
right
the
along.
wise man who's like this weird old dude with a bird on his head,
It's a hat
a bird hat.
Yeah.
because he even says it's so stimulating being your hat.
There are entire species of birds that are wiped out because of women in America and Europe putting them on
Europe.
their hats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd. You can look it up. They are like, that's a whole fucking bird on your hat.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. We are
I
terrible
don't
people.
get it. I don't get it.
Like, that bird's feathers are beautiful. Kill it.
Like, okay, you know what you do? You wait for the bird to let some of those feathers fall, right? It's going to happen. Or, hey, hunt some of the birds.
At least maybe they ate it. Maybe they.
No.
No.
We're talking
Oh,
like
God,
we're talking
no.
like old England.
We're
They
talking
didn't
no, we're
worry.
talking about like America in the I would say late 18s, very early 19s.
Oh, okay.
Like we are talking about
Makes more sense actually.
And yeah, to your husband's point, no, they're not fucking eating that. Like I literally just want that bird to put on my hat, make it look spooky.
I don't eat scum birds. I just wear them on my head.
Yeah, we're gonna eat.
You know,
parts
it's
of
like
buffalo.
gorilla ashtrays that we talked about on
Oh
Rampage.
God, yeah.
You know?
Gotta hand it to him.
But she does say to the wise man that Hoggle is her friend. This is my friend Hoggle, and this kind of sets off Hoggle's change, right? Because up to this point,
Friend?
he's kind of liked her, but he's also been working for Jareth, and at this point, he's supposed to be leading her back to the beginning of
Yeah.
the Labyrinth.
Uh-huh.
But now he's
And
like,
if
"Oh
he
shit, I've never
doesn't-
had a friend."
And if he doesn't lead her back,
He gets thrown in the bog of eternal stench.
Yes.
Oh no, he gets
Not
dipped
yet.
into the because he's threatened him twice.
Yes, so
but the
this is the
first one
first
he
one.
says, "I will string you up over the by what is, he says it? I will
By the
string you
ear.
up by the hair."
ear.
Ear. Yeah, and
he
dangle you
grabs
over the
his ear.
bog of eternal stench.
Right.
And that was said at the time where he threw the cleaners at them.
The wise man's kind of useless, but she does pay him anyway.
But he
Basically,
says,
he's like, "You might be going the right way. If you think you're going the right way, snore."
no, he
So
says
he's a
sometimes the
philosopher.
way back is, or sometimes the way forward is the way back. So things are not what they seem, is literally what he
Yeah.
You,
says.
sir, are the world's worst fortune cookie.
Exactly. And that's what Hoggle says. He's like, he didn't tell you anything I didn't fucking tell you already.
Yeah.
Like I already said, if they say you're going the wrong way, you're going
Hey.
the right way.
The labyrinth is teaching you life lessons, dude. Hold on to your money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes a wise man's just an idiot.
And then she does encounter the first time we really see the medieval Jawas, and they have these like fetuses on sticks,
Yeah. That's
That's
a
what
bad
I've
way to
always
put-
called them.
Yeah, fetus on a
Demon?
stick.
and they're like
A demon fetus.
they're
on a
like
stick.
Adidas.
beating. We have Ludo, who is a big old Yeti-looking creature, and they have him strung up from a tree, and they're like hitting him with their fetus sticks.
Yeah, bite the ones now. Go ahead, bite them.
So is this where the wild things is coming from? Is Ludo's creature?
Probably. Seems like where the wild things are.
'Cause-
Yeah.
He's not in the room. I had said Ludo
I think
earlier.
there
and I
is
meant
a
There's a
little
stuffed
puppet.
animal of him after. I didn't catch it before.
Okay.
But after there definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah, but Hoggle, as soon as, because this is like you said, he's a friend now, and as soon as he hears the roar, he's like, nope, we're not friends. I don't need friends. I'm looking out for me. Bye.
Hoggle is Hoggle's friend.
And I think this is the wise man thing of like, do what you feel, you
Yeah.
know. And she's like, well, I feel like I'm gonna go rescue this big creature.
I feel like throwing rocks at these little motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So she does.
I wish I had a rock, and a rock appears out of nowhere.
Which, so did Ludo help her with this?
Yes.
Okay, because he doesn't really do his like rock
Yeah,
call.
he does. He does a little one.
He makes a
and that's
noise.
why
I mean,
a
it's
little one
not-
comes. You can tell the difference. I'm sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to
no,
cut you
you're
off.
fine.
You can tell the difference between his roar and then the multiple octave roar. 'Cause
Yes.
The multiple octave roar is the one calling
For the
the
big
rocks.
rocks.
Yeah, when he's summoning
No, even
all
the-
the rocks,
Oh,
like he's
it's
doing,
like,
he's doing the Ace Ventura. Come to me, my jungle friends. Oh.
And this Ludo costume, apparently, when they first built it, was like over 100 pounds.
170 pounds.
And
Oh no, thank you.
Jim Henson was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna fly." So they had to start over. They ended up with a much lighter one, still like 75-ish pounds.
Yeah, but that's
So-
dude, 100 pounds off is manageable.
They had two different actors playing him because it was so heavy.
Yeah.
So you'd have one actor playing it one day, the next one the next day,
I thought you
kind of
meant,
thing.
like in the same suit.
No.
Okay.
So they would take turns.
That makes sense.
And-
Anybody famous do this? I couldn't figure. I
No.
couldn't find it. Okay.
No, more like Jim
Just
Henson
puppeteers. Yeah.
I just figured with its height, it could be the dude that played Harry and the Henderson and Predator,
Oh,
shit
no.
like that. But I couldn't find the fucking name.
I think it was just a lot of the people on cast were just people that were puppeteers with him.
I think
For
the
career.
that,
I
make,
think
that
the
makes sense because
person
you might be
part-
tall, but you don't know how to fucking puppeteer.
Well, and I think the person part is his body up to his neck, and then the head is like a separate.
animatronic.
Yeah, it's got
maybe.
animatronics, or maybe they're looking out through the mouth, kind of thing, something like that.
That sounds about right. I
And
like.
so she rescues him, and they partner up, and that's
Who
when they run
rescued
into
who, huh?
and that's when they run into the door knockers, who I also really love. Like all these little
This
weird
guy's
characters.
Mouth. Is it somebody's hand doing the lips?
Yeah.
because it looks
100%.
so fucking articulated and cool.
Yeah. There might be some other stuff in there, but you can see at certain points that it's definitely like a hand inside.
Like when he crunches
But the way
his
they
mouth
do
up.
their stuff, almost everything has some kind of animatronics.
Anybody else feel
involved,
bad
so.
for this knocker? Because she takes the ring
Yeah.
out
A
so he
little
can
bit.
talk,
And then Ludo puts it in his.
Yeah, that's cute. But then she's like, "Well, I have to knock," and he's like, "I'm not gonna open my mouth because I don't want that thing back in my mouth."
Yeah.
Can't say I blame him.
Yeah. She like holds his nose to force him to open his mouth, which is kind of fucked up. But then she's like, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "That's okay, I'm used to it."
Life lesson, dude. You gotta get shit done. It doesn't matter if you have to step on somebody or put a ring in their mouth.
But I think it's a really fun concept of like
Ooh, I want an onion ring. in
the
my
one
mouth.
that has the knocker coming out of its ears can't hear anything, and the one that has the knocker in its mouth can't really talk. It's a fun little
They're a
concept.
perfect
Yeah.
couple.
They are.
Because that one with the ring thing in his ears.
Hear
is
no
just-
evil, say no
That's
evil.
not true. They're not really the perfect couple because the one with the rings in his ears is constantly yapping about how it can't hear anything. Hey, stop mumbling!
Oh, it
And
is
the other
the
one
worst
can hear
couple.
everything, and it's just like, good
Oh,
God.
it's the worst couple. I changed my mind.
But I like the concept. I like the design. I think that's really
I thought
cool.
it was fantastic.
Design's cool shit.
And then this is where we go to the Fiery Forest.
There is the one funny thing during the knockers. I just mentioned because it's a good line. It's like she's looking at him and she's touching him and trying to figure him out. And the one with thing in his ears is like, "Hey, it's rude to stare." And also though, she didn't have to put it back in its mouth. You have to hit the ring on the thing. So
I
just
said
knock,
take
knock,
it
knock.
out once the door opens, like, and there you go.
Or just slap it against the knocky knock.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to say that. Slap it against the knocky knock.
Are you telling him our bedtime stories?
This is a PG episode. I
I
think
gotta
it
go
is.
to bed. Can you come over here and slap it on the knockety knock? I would sleep better than a little knockety knock.
That's what I say.
I'm doing my impersonation. You could not tell. But I'm gonna be a voice actor. This is my perfect Whitney.
That is
slap me
perfect.
on the knockety knock.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They get to a forest. I don't think this forest has a magical name,
No, it's the Fiery Forest.
but the Fireys are there. Ludo is scared.
As he should
And
be.
it's funny because she's like, imagine something big and scary like you, or something as big as you being scared. And he's like, yeah. Falls in a hole.
Right? Like, and you gone.
And Ludo is fucking great, by the way. Ludo's
I
adorable.
love Ludo.
But he falls in a hole. We cut back to Hoggle wandering around. And he walks through this thing, and it's clearly on purpose. These rocks are lined up, and it looks like David Bowie's face carved out of
100%.
rocks, which is fucking awesome. And then, like, as the camera pans to the side, you see that it's actually 3
6.
different, like, things of rocks or however many. Like,
It's a perspective piece of art.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool because that's when Jareth appears and basically is intimidating Hoggle, and he's like, "Why would she like you? You're gross and ugly. Give her this peach, by the way."
Yeah.
He's like, remember, if she kisses you, I will make you a prince.
That's his stinger on the end because he's like, this whole time, he's like, you got to give her this peach. She's got to forget. I don't want to. I don't want to do anything to harm her. I never thought you would lose your head over a woman.
Right?
Sorry, that was way too Sulu. Hello.
Oh,
I never thought
Goblin
I would
King.
lose my head over a woman.
Oh, my.
And then he says, I will make you a pinch of the, what is it?
Prince.
I'll make you a prince if she kisses you. Like you
Right,
said.
but the prince of eternal stench.
Uh-huh.
And then, sure enough, she kisses him on the cheek. They fall through a thing. Boom, they're in
The
the bog of
bog.
eternal stench.
Which
Yes.
is just a bunch of flappy buttholes in water.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about the Fireys real quick because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right before this. Just because we did talk a little bit, they're really cool.
It's
but
a
the song,
complicated scene.
It is super complicated.
The song was written by David Bowie called "Chilly Down," performed by the voice performers. But it's great when they're doing they take off their own heads and toss them back and forth and whatnot, and then to like defeat them because they're trying to tear off her head. They're like, her head doesn't come off. What the fuck's this shit?
And then
so
she
she
takes theirs
tears off all theirs and throws.
And they
Hey,
say
that's
you
not
can't
fair.
take somebody else's head. I'm like,
Well-
you just tried taking hers.
They say you can't toss somebody else's head.
Yeah, you could take somebody's head. Just don't toss it, bro.
And, yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, what is it? Oh, it's against the rule to throw people's heads. Now it's our turn to throw your head. And they start chasing her, and she's like, yeah, no fucking thanks. And Hoggle rescues her with a rope.
Yes.
So
I
You're
love
correct.
this song, by the way. At one
I know.
point, like it's got a very good normal rhyme scheme, but then there's one line where the guy has to like double up. He's
Yep.
like, "Ain't got no suitcase or anything else I can worry about if I don't have to." Like just jammed it all in one line.
I love that. I absolutely love that they did that.
and yeah, then they're in the bog, which is full of weird, distended buttholes.
Prolapsed anuses.
yes,
Yes.
that spew green goop and make fart noises.
Yeah. It's, I mean, younger me probably just loved it, but this time I watched, I'm like, ugh. Oh,
I don't know my British royalty enough to remember the name of this person, but when they saw this movie in England, apparently there was like a premiere in England, and the only person watching this that really loved this scene was a prince. I don't know if it was Prince Charles, Prince Edward, some
Yeah,
prince.
I don't know enough. I would say
But,
86. I would say probably.
Probably Charles.
Probably Edward. Well, it could be Charles.
Edward
I don't know
was
who's
her
who.
husband.
Isn't
right?
Charles the one
Yeah.
that's like 900 and he's the king now?
Yes.
That's
So Edward was his
Philip.
father.
That's Philip.
I think.
I don't know,
dude.
and I don't
I'm
care.
not a monarch.
Oh, you're right.
But-
who the fuck is Edward?
Who cares?
I don't know. But one of them, their princes, saw this and was apparently just rolling in the aisles about this, and everybody else
He was just
like,
rolling Emmerich.
and everybody else is just like, okay, it's farts, and he's just like, dude, farts are hilarious.
Fart water. Hey, but funny. Look at that. Fart water.
And Ludo, throughout this whole scene, no matter what, everybody's talking about other things and how to get out of here and how to do this and that. And every time they turn to him, he's just like, oh, it fucking stinks, bro.
Oh.
And here we meet
Sir
Sir
Didymus.
Didymus and Ambrosius, which if
Sir
you
Didymus sounds like a really fancy way of masturbating.
right, and if you know us and you have met our dog Candy, she is both of those dogs rolled into one.
She is.
Because if you come walking in the room, she's Sir Didymus. She's like, I'll fucking fight you. But
knows that?
but then you walk at her faster and she's Ambrosius. So she's right the fuck out of there.
Unless you threaten to not feed her.
No, unless I'm sitting on the couch and she will lunge at you.
But it is funny because they're like, we need to get out of here. It fucking reeks, Sir Didymus. And he's like, smells fresh to me.
The air smells
Fragrance?
sweet.
And fragrance.
But his job is, he's the Black Knight, basically, right?
Yeah.
He's
No
Little
one's-
John. He's here to stop you from crossing the bridge.
Yeah.
He
he's
literally
Lancelot.
says, like, you shall not pass without my permission. And right then, at that line, I'd be like, may I please have your permission?
But
Yeah,
it's-
nobody asks. That's the life lesson here, is just like maybe ask for permission instead of
Exactly.
like fighting right away.
Don't demand
But
The
shit.
Labyrinth is handing down life lessons,
But
y'all.
if they didn't fight, they wouldn't have gained him as a party member.
Correct. Because Ludo and Sir Didymus fight, and Ludo wins, and Sir Didymus says, "Oh, you were a worthy opponent. We are now brothers."
Oh, that's true.
Ludo have brother?
Ludo put brother down.
But yeah, so then she's like, may we have permission to cross your bridge? And he is so fucking confused because
He's
no
like,
one's ever tried this. He's like, yes?
Huh.
And they're trying to cross this little like
guess that would be all right.
plank bridge, and he's like, "Don't worry, this bridge has lasted 1,000 years. It's sturdy." And he taps
Ting,
it with
ting,
his
ting.
little thing, and the whole fucking wall just crumbles.
And she's in the middle of it, so she has to grab onto a tree.
And she's hanging over Shit Creek here.
She's over Shit Creek without a ladder.
Exactly.
And that's when, and there is a little, Sir Didymus has a lot of like in the background lines.
Yes.
Because whoever did the voice is just talking.
Yeah.
Because Sir Didymus talks a lot. And this is one that's not focused on, it's while Ludo's summoning rocks, and he's like, "Oh, it seems solid."
He also, you do hear it clearly, and then he does say, "You do not have to. This is not a time to roar. You need to help your lady."
Yeah.
The person who voices Ambrosius
Ambrosius is the sheepdog.
Ambrosius.
And there was someone credited with voicing, which I'm
Yeah.
assuming is when it's the puppet.
Yeah,
it's just going.
last name is Clash. He ends up
Kevin Clash.
Kevin Clash ends up becoming Splinter, the voice actor for Splinter in the
In
Ninja
the
Turtles
cartoon?
movies.
Oh, the movies. Okay.
Which I'm not going to do an
I
impersonation
thought you said
of, 'cause it's
entrails,
kinda-
not Ninja Turtles.
He does the voice for Entrails, but he also becomes Elmo.
Oh,
That's him.
Yeah, at least he
Okay.
may not be the first one, but that's his big credit on
He's
IMDb. He's Elmo.
the one that got famous for being a perv. Then
I don't know if I'd say famous.
infamous.
Infamous.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
We did see him in the behind the scenes because she pointed him out. She's like, he's the one that does a bunch of the voices because he's also one of the Fireys. He helps control them and he does
Yeah.
the voices
Yep.
there. So he calls up these rocks, and I was. This is the one part that confused me because I was like, well, these rocks are covered in bog goo.
and
Yeah.
if you touch it, you will stink forever.
Yeah,
Just
so
change your shoes.
I guess just her shoes will stink forever.
I guess if your skin touches it,
Yeah.
it stains
Yeah,
your skin.
okay.
Yeah, these shoes are ruined.
But it's funny because she uses the rocks to get across. I don't remember hearing any noises.
Oh, it farts.
Oh, does it? Okay, because
I
then when
didn't- I
Ludo's
remember like maybe it wasn't as pronounced when she does
No,
it because
it's
as
little
soon as
ones.
Ludo does it, it's just like
And then when Ambrosius does it, it's
yeah, because it's this dog trotting across them, so it's like it's a good time.
it had the royalty laughing.
And then
Did you see that? The dog stepped and it farted.
and
it's
Hoggle
like your corgis.
Hoggle ends up giving Sarah the peach.
Ugh, he regrets it
she's-
too. The
I
second
could eat
he
a
gives it
peach
to
for
her.
hours.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. Marissa Tomei eating a peach. Sign me up, dude. What's
So
the Patreon on that?
apparently, this has nothing to do with this movie. It has to do with eating peaches. There's a whole subsect of exploitation film called sexploitation, which are basically softcore porn before there was cable, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a subsect of that is literally peach eating.
I have seen a video of a man eating a peach where I'm like, whew.
like,
there's something to be said about that.
I watched this movie the other day that came in a box set from Vinegar Syndrome, and it's just a bunch of lost films, so they're not always all ones I would necessarily normally watch. And there's a lot of old exploitation stuff that basically people thought didn't exist anymore until these guys found them.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in one of them where this girl is just eating a peach, and this other girl is watching her eat the peach and just like gooing herself. And I was
So
just,
I'm watching a girl watch a girl eat a peach?
yeah, and I was
Cool.
just sitting there watching it, and I'm alone. Everyone's in bed, so I'm not worried about anybody walking in the room, but I'm still just like, okay.
I don't feel like I should be seeing
These
this.
are
It's
things people
also-
watched in theaters.
Yeah.
how do you feel about a girl like going on a blow pop or a popsicle just watching you? Just eye contact, like
Well, it's fine, but it's still,
Uncomfortable.
it's weird.
I feel like I'm not supposed to be there.
But again, I'm watching a movie,
but
watching
she's doing
this.
it for you.
That's why I feel like I'm not supposed to be there.
I kept
She
waiting
doesn't
for
know me.
someone to come out to fill up their water bottle and be like, "What are you watching?"
Nothing.
You know that we're all still here and in bed. You live
This
in a house
is-
full of women. Don't do this in the living room, homie.
This is a pseudo porn parody of Bette Midler. It's called
Seriously.
Peaches.
There's 3 female adults and 2 female dogs.
Yeah,
And-
I'm the only male in this house. Don't watch porn in the living room. It's not porn. It's sexploitation cinema.
And Tobias, that's why you're always invited.
He needs another pencil around here.
Was it Tobias? Wait, what's the kid's name? Toby?
Toby.
Oh, that's
but-
Tobias, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Toby short for Tobias.
Sorry, you say Tobias, and my first thought is Funke, and then I'm just like, he blew himself.
It's pronounced analrapist. It wasn't the pronunciation that worried me.
the world's first analyst and therapist.
This
Arrested
anus
Development.
Oh, that's right.
David Cross.
Yeah.
So anyway, this tastes strange. Hoggle, what'd you do to me? And he's like, I didn't put acid in it, and runs away. And she starts tripping balls.
Well, he says, I'm sorry, damn Jareth and damn me too.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But it's funnier when you think it's acid.
It is.
And
The White Rabbit starts playing. Like, oh, fuck.
But
David
you do get
Bowie,
a badass Bowie song right now.
David Bowie's playing with his balls. She's tripping balls. A ball comes flying through the forest and sucks her into this eyes wide shut ballroom scene.
Least favorite scene in the movie. This is where I want to fall asleep.
When I was younger, same thing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm an adult, I kind of understand it a little more.
It's not that I don't
I
understand it, I
appreciate
just don't care.
the craftsmanship on
Yes.
the masks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm paying more attention to that kind of stuff, and I'm like, looks really good. Also, this was, according to all the sources I read, their easiest scene to film because you know what's not in this scene?
Puppets.
Puppets, children, animals.
Do you know why
But
it's
they
my
do
least
have
favorite?
people on
No
police.
puppets or animals.
There you go. Thank you.
They do have people on pulleys though, like going up and down.
Yeah.
It's not the worst scene. I'm just a fucking 9-year-old asshole.
I know, no, 100%. And this is
song-
also seen in her bedroom. She has that little dancing ballerina. In the
Oh,
thing.
Yeah,
Good
it
catch,
actually
good
shows
catch.
that in the crystal ball first.
Yeah.
You see the ballerina like
And then
music
she
box.
turns into it.
Got it.
And this song is called Within
sense.
You. I know you said you like this song. This is my least favorite of the songs, but it's also my least favorite Bowie style. I like the weirder dance pop kind of like things, or the
I
60s
agree.
like psychedelic rock songs kind of things, I mean, my favorite shit from him is like, Major Tom and all that kind of stuff. So
It is my least favorite song of the 4 that he performs, but it's still a badass song.
Yeah,
It's
somebody
David
just has
Bowie.
to be in last place.
Yes.
yeah.
And this would be number 4.
It's getting a participation trophy.
So all these people are watching David Bowie try to have sex with a 14-year-old, and then she smashes through the wall of the crystal, and it doesn't look great, but it's fine. Give it a pass because the rest of the movie does. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not, what are they going to have her do? Smash a pane of glass?
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's 14. That sounds like an insurance problem. That's why they shot it in England. Never mind. That's why George Lucas shot everything in England. You don't have unions for the acting or the film crews.
And
But
then
so
she
much
lands in a
easier.
junkyard.
yeah, and she lands in the junkyard, and we meet the junk lady who,
Is
from
my
some
idol.
stuff I read, there's dropped stuff that wasn't used where she's either supposed to be Jareth's mother,
Well, there's multiples of them. You can see them walking around.
but this specific one is supposed to be Jareth's mother in one version, and also in another version was supposed to be not an actual like creature, but a puppet herself who is being controlled by Jareth, like the beggar puppet from earlier,
Okay.
I'm glad they dropped both.
to lead because it's to lead her away from her path through the
Yes.
labyrinth because she's lost her memory.
she doesn't know what she's searching for.
The junk lady takes her. She's like, "Come in here. You'll find what you're looking for in here." And it's Sarah's room.
She's so like you said. You can see others.
Yes.
These are all the people that just got weighed down by their possessions.
Yeah, and this part is the
This is
Shit,
because that's what she's
son.
trying to do to Sarah.
yeah. This is
She's
the
like,
most
here's your teddy
clear.
bear,
Yeah.
Lancelot. Like here's that.
Here's your horsey. Here's this bunny rabbit.
Oh, Raggedy.
And
And
you
you
can
can-
see her start stacking it on
Yep.
her
What is the
because they're like
set?
hermit crabs.
There's a building
Exactly.
set or a picture,
Is that a fancy word for puzzle?
I guess.
But yeah, she's stacking all this shit on her, and basically she's telling like Sarah is trying her hardest to remember like what the fuck was I doing, and I've been there.
Oh, you want your lipstick?
Anytime I've gone into a walk-in. Limes? No, not limes. What the? Maybe I'll go back out there and see if it sparks
was the
me.
worst when I worked at the grocery store and I'm doing like stocking stuff or whatever, and I walk in the back and I'm like, why the fuck am I here? So I go back out and I'm like, what aisle was I on? And I finally figure that out, and then I'm like looking down the aisle like, okay, I needed something.
What am I here
It's
for?
another 40 minutes of me looking around at what I just did to figure out what the fuck I needed.
It's the gift
Oh, I
of John
needed-
Travolta.
Yeah, exactly. It's me as John Travolta. Like, what? Huh?
Oh, they needed pretzels. Whoop, there's lunch.
But she's telling her, like, oh, you don't need anything else. You weren't doing anything else. Everything you've ever cared about is here. And she's stacking all of her childish worldly possessions
Yeah.
onto herself, which is kind of like the theme of what's going on in the movie.
But then she sees the book Labyrinth,
Oh.
and she starts reading it, and you can see the angry face on this goblin lady.
yeah, because she's trying to
And
distract
that
her.
would have made sense if it's Jareth's puppet.
Yeah. But also Jareth has been controlling even if they don't show it directly, a lot of these things are being controlled or told what to do by him. You
100%.
only see him directly doing it to Hoggle, but...
And I don't know if we've either haven't gotten there or didn't talk about it because it's a nothing thing, but we do hear his voice without seeing him. Like, it's right before Hoggle throws the peach. He's about to throw the peach away. He's like, I wouldn't do that. So he's like...
He's watching.
Yeah, he's omnipotent. He's all powerful. He doesn't have to
the
be
balls
there.
he watches you through.
Yeah, he's just over there playing with his balls in his castle.
He
watching
watches
eat
you
a
and his
peach.
balls.
Would that make it weirder if that chick was eating a peach and then David Bowie's just there playing with his balls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'd be bordering on sexploitation.
I gotta learn that ball trick, dude.
I know how to do this one.
Those are Benoit balls.
Yeah, I know how to do that.
But as she does finally start to remember, and the room starts to collapse, and it's really cool. They just have like things set up to tear the drywall off. And
It was
stuff.
amazing. I fucking loved it.
And
she crawls through a hole.
Yeah, and she meets Ludo and Sir Didymus, and they get to the Goblin City. And I love like the Goblin.
Oh, and Hoggle's in there also.
He hasn't showed. He's watching them.
Yes.
But he hasn't gotten back to them.
He's
yet.
ashamed.
He is ashamed.
And I love though when they get to the gates and the Goblin guard is sleeping, and Sir Didymus is just screaming at the gate, "Open this fucking door!"
And then
he's like,
Candy.
"Let us in! I'll fight you all to the death!" And she's like, "Will you shut the fuck
Shut
up?
the fuck
You're
up,
gonna
dude."
wake him up." And at this point,
But I'm
going,
not a
if that
coward.
didn't wake him up, he's hitting this fucking guard on the
I think
head.
you got it. I think we're fine. That guard might be dead.
He's drunk because he goes.
Dude, this is heroin. This ain't drunk. Like,
Yeah, that's a nod off.
But that's when he's like, I'm not a coward, and she's like, no, you were the bravest sire I know, or whatever.
he's like, "Okay, then fucking fight me!"
She's like, shh. I
Yeah,
expected
that's
her to
brave.
I expected her to pinch his mouth shut, but she just boops his nose.
My favorite thing about this fucking Didymus is his teeth. Especially when he whistles for his dogs. He just has the cutest little
It's 'cause
dog
it's your
teeth.
teeth.
I don't like it anymore.
No, I love
Jack
it.
doesn't
It's
have
so
dog
cute.
teeth.
No, you don't have dog teeth.
Apparently I do, Derek.
No, you don't.
Apparently I do.
No, you don't.
No, they're the cutest little teefus you've
They
ever seen.
are the little cutest.
It reminds me
things.
of, like lifting up a dog's teeth just to look at him. Like, let me see what you got
I
there.
do that to Candy all the time. I go, "No."
Yep. Let me see them pearlies.
And she's like, "Why are you doing this?"
Candy, you should smile more.
I never tell her that.
You don't have to. I did.
They get in through the first gate, and the second gate closes, and this like robotic golem beast, not
Gollum, yeah.
not Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but like a traditional golem,
Yeah.
comes out of the door and swinging this axe at him and shit. And it's cool. It moves slow and clunky, but that's the point. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's a steampunk robot, basically, is what it is. It's a steampunk Iron Man suit because there's a little tiny goblin inside.
Steampunk, not steep hunk. Got it.
Steampunk, not Steve.
What did you think you
Not
were
Steve
saying?
Hunk.
Steep hunk.
It's a steep hunk.
He's a very steep hunk.
I mean, it would be that too.
I think I need hearing aids, guys.
I think this is during this scene is the first time we see the puppet Ambrosius.
We see him all the time.
So they alternate between a real dog running around with a puppet just tied to his back, which is fucking hilarious.
When it runs is some of the best shit in cinema.
Yeah, because this thing's falling off the side and shit.
And the voice actor's terrific when he's just screaming shit. Avasti!
bloop, 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 bloop. And then the scenes where Sir Didymus needs to be talking, Ambrosius is a puppet dog.
Yeah.
That looks close.
Yeah.
You can tell it's a puppet, but when they're doing like the shaking and fear shit, it's got me laughing.
It
Yeah.
does. Derek's like, I think that's my favorite character. Hence him starting as Ambrosius.
Road to redemption for Hoggle, because they don't know what to do about this big fucker.
They don't.
So Hoggle comes up, jumps off of I don't know how he got up there.
He climbed the wall.
Sure, it wasn't easy. He jumps down on top of this steampunk bot, tears the head off, tells that little goblin in the chair to get the fuck out of there. And I thought he was going to pull a Chewbacca, back to Star Wars, and use this fucking ATST, like, let's blast the doors open kind of thing.
He was
That's what
trying,
I
but
was
he's like, how
thinking.
do you control this blasted thing?
Where's reverse?
And he's just still swinging the axe at them, and they're like, "Will you stop, please?"
Stop arbitrarily pushing buttons. It's
then-
not working. You killed Ludo.
The axe gets stuck up in the concrete.
The axe gets stuck up like it looks down upon hatchets.
It does.
And other knives.
And the whole
You
thing
only
like
have a blade on one side, pussy.
exactly.
No one's ever heard of a battle fork, but a battle axe.
But everything's starting to look like it's gonna explode. So he jumps out, and it bada boom, and then like, oh my god, Hoggle, you came back. He's like,
I ain't
expect-
apologizing. I ain't ashamed of what I did.
I don't expect you to forgive me.
I was looking out for myself like I always do.
And she knows he's too proud to apologize. I mean, he says he's not going to apologize, but she knows it's because he is ashamed. She knows.
Yeah.
So she tells him she forgives him. It's heartwarming. They all love him, and it's a big moment, and they all get together. And they go through the Goblin City gates, and we see, one of the first things we see is a fountain with a bunch of things that look like Hoggle, and on all four sides has a dick that's peeing.
Yeah.
It's a giant pipe, but it's a fat cock.
And
Most giant pipes are fat cocks.
and that thing, but I mean, the thing is, it's like it comes out of the crotch,
Yep.
but also they also have their little hands
on
around it. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Besides this fountain, well, maybe with the fountain, I want to get super drunk in this town. It's so delightfully whimsical.
Isn't it?
And like just everything's a little bit askew and like melty almost.
It's
you
like
know?
if Tim Burton did less psychedelics.
Yes. It's like if Tim Burton still is good.
Correct. And then he makes the mistake of saying, "Oh, it's a piece of cake." Hundreds of goblins are now
We'll
surrounding
be
them.
there in no time. It couldn't get any worse.
Ugh.
So yeah, Ambrosius is running away. Fuck that. Run away!
Run away!
Ambrosius is running from the goblins. The other three are trying to move on. They can't find Ambrosius and Didymus. And finally, right before they get to the gates, Didymus is like, "If you don't turn around right now, I'll never feed you again." And we get like, comes running back in, surrounded by goblins, and he's like, "I think we've got them surrounded, Ambrosius."
I love it.
Multiple times. Like, all right, lay down your weapons. Make sure you get treated fairly.
He's just so fucking brazen.
I love it.
Cocksure.
You would basically call it Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah. And like
Except we like it.
Exactly.
the other three are like, two of them run into a house, Sarah and Hoggle, and he's like, "How's Ludo gonna get in?" And Ludo just opens the whole front of this house like a door.
Yep.
I don't think your homeowner's insurance is covering that, man.
I don't think goblins have insurance, man.
Jareth doesn't offer insurance.
They don't die.
Don't unionize either.
They don't die. They get blown up a lot.
Yeah,
in this.
no one dies. Even the one that gets smashed.
Every
He's
single
still
one
talking.
who looks like it would die gets a line after, and
Yep.
I think that's on purpose.
Yep, I
Yeah.
thought the same thing, especially after the one that's the gun,
Yeah.
which I think we're at right now. I don't know.
It's
see
all
it-
right here.
You see it a couple times, and yeah, it gets smashed by a huge rock, and it's just like, what did it say? I'm okay.
Didn't I fire you?
That's a good one. The one in the cannon, a rock goes into the cannon. "Didn't I fire you?" I can't remember what the one says. It's just like, "Well, that's something," or something along those lines. But it's to make sure that you know that none of them are dead. So all these rocks are smashing stuff because Ludo called them. We mentioned that earlier.
Call your rocks. They're your friends. I call rocks, Joe Rogan.
Ambrosius and Didymus joust one of the Jawas, and they're running through, and like all these rocks are coming, and there's a bunch of the Jawa guards standing in
right.
an alley. That's what my note was about. That's why I was confused.
Oh, they go up
One
like
of
a
them,
Michael
yeah,
Bay film.
the first one is like, "Stand your ground," and they just get fucking wiped out like bowling pins. He's like, "Never mind, run for your lives."
That one is a really fun one. And they do a lot of backward stuff from this point, like throwing rocks down, like having rocks go through something.
So that way the rocks can jump up.
Yeah, because it's
Makes
all
perfect sense.
they're having them go uphill into buildings. So it looks
It was
dope.
funny
And
when
they
all the
even
rocks-
hold on, they even have like the puppets moving backwards for when they're recording it. So the puppets are going forwards for the backwards.
It's a good trick.
It's phenomenal.
Again, we're back to talking about practical tricks.
And I love it.
I did notice there's just a little thing. It was just kind of funny when all the rocks are first coming into the Goblin City, like when they knock the door down. You have a bunch of rocks rolling. They're rocking and rolling.
But here come the Rolling Stones.
In the middle of the group, you can see there's ones that just got stuck on other ones.
Yeah.
So there's ones that are just sliding. They're not rolling. It's kind of funny. I mean, who
They're
cares?
doing the
But
electric
it's
slide.
Just,
It's fine.
Yeah.
it's a rock slide.
Oh, fuck. I was
So they
trying
get-
to think of something.
They get into the castle, and she goes up. She's like, "I've got to do this myself, you guys." And
Why?
But should you need us?
I just like it's
why?
like because he's like why she's like that's just how it has to be done. Well, if that's how it has to be done,
well, yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Didymus gets it, dude. He's like, if that's your knight's code,
I get it.
Say less, fam.
But yes, should you need us?
Yes. Should
Just
you
call
need us?
Anything.
Just call us.
And we get to like the final chamber here, and it's the MC Escher relativity painting.
And this is
And this
my
this
second favorite
set-
song.
So we're watching this, and I'm going, okay, so is this like they shot a few sets and like flipped footage and did whatever? I mean, there are parts that they did that, like if you see someone walking in the background, but this set with the different stairs going all the different ways and stuff was a full set.
Okay.
Like a guy built
it's
this
real.
whole thing with
Yeah.
like the stairways that go out and then back down and all the.
There really is a person walking from underneath and going up. They have like a contraption that is attached to the outside leg or the inside leg that you can't see from the camera.
Uh-huh.
So when they're walking
the
from
back.
underneath and they go flip up,
Yeah, the parts
It's-
where David Bowie flips from being upside down to right side up, that's all real.
that's
Oh,
a
that's
real
crazy.
It's not David
contraption.
Bowie.
No, but it looks fucking great for
But then
a
there's
reason.
also shots like they showed. So like when you see David Bowie go by the camera and then come out of a hallway, there's really a dude dressed like David Bowie that's on like a dolly that they pull past the camera and then he comes walking out. It's not just like we shot all these things and cut it weirdly.
I have
I
to
wanna-
say this only because it's amazing. David Bowie's stunt character is a female.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yes.
I was just thinking in my head, what a fun day of casting. Like, we need a David Bowie look-alike.
Yeah,
You know
and
how many
it's a female.
awesome and weird
I
people
think there was
you're
a
gonna get?
couple. 'Cause I think the one that they pulled in front of the camera looked like a dude.
No, that was a girl.
But then the one they flipped
Well,
up
but
looked
David
like
Bowie
woman,
looks like a
but-
dude.
And a girl.
Exactly.
But the one that was like on the rollers, like going.
Oh, was it a
doing
woman?
It was a female.
Oh, okay.
Because when they pulled her back, she was sitting up, and you can see lady
Oh,
lumps.
okay. And this song, As the World
David
Falls
Bowie
Down,
just gave
Oh.
me a boner.
One of the lines in this song.
a David Bona.
David Bowie.
Boner.
So there's one line in specific in this song that I fucking love. Your eyes can be so cruel, just like I can be so cruel.
Okay.
I don't know why, but the way he says it, and I'm not going to
It's
sing
Bowie.
it. I just I
it's
lose
the
my
Bowie
shit
delivery,
over it.
right?
Yeah, he could read the fucking back of the back of a cereal box.
And I
Just
I'm
make a song where he's
10%
reading.
potassium.
and I
He's reading the
changed.
phone book from beginning to end.
I moved the stars for no
Aronson.
one. Is another line he says in the song. I moved the stars for no one, meaning I have done all of this for you, which
Yeah.
will come back.
I mean, yeah, because now we're getting to his speech where he's like, dude, I've manipulated time. I did this. I
Dude.
tried to give you acid and a peach. Just
The-
want to
the-
microdose you, girl.
The baby dummy comes back in this. And I
Yes,
just
it
gonna
does.
mention it because, like, so you have baby Toby crawling up and down stairs, and then she's walking up and down trying to find him, and David Bowie, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a part where she's running up, and I think what they did was they had the set. Like where, like I said, it was a real set.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they just strapped the baby dummy because there's one point where you just see this baby just laying like dead on the stairs, but I think they just strapped it to the roof. So she's like running up the stairs, and there's just like the baby dummy
I'm
in the
here
background.
for it. I fucking love
It's
it.
probably easier to get a baby dummy to work than a baby.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, they have their moments where they face off.
And it's absolutely wonderful because the clock starts striking at the 13th hour, and so she is in a conundrum. She either has to leap and just go for the baby or waste time and run through life.
Yeah.
So it's
And she leaps and everything gets all trippy.
Yeah, it
the,
does.
The room breaks apart.
We talked about we said his like part of his speech at the beginning, but like I just think it's so funny. He's like, I did all this for you. Let me rule you. I'm not asking for much. You kinda are.
right. She's like, "What have you done for me? I've stopped time. I've changed time for you."
I took your kid when you asked.
Yeah.
I had this dope ass maze for you to play in. Did you meet the two-headed guys? They're a riot.
Like he lists all these things that he has done, quote unquote, for her.
Yeah.
And he's like, just what is it? I gave you the line.
Just fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, that's a Bowie lyric for
So
sure.
just be my slave, and I'll be your slave.
Yeah. We can be each other's slaves.
I mean, isn't that what God tells us? Yeah. Fear me, obey me, do as I say. I'll
He
be
doesn't-
there for
he won't
you.
be our
He
slave,
he
though.
leaves out the second half.
Yeah,
Killed
he's-
his son for us, though.
We did that.
Right?
We killed his son for him.
Yep. You're welcome.
Fucking Christ.
Out here doing
Literally.
It was 32 year long
Out here.
abortion.
Well, he came back, so he's kind of an abortion survivor.
Oh.
People hate this joke, but I always say Jesus is the first born again Christian. I'm back. I found God.
Well, he was never Christian. He didn't believe in himself.
Oh. Jesus got low self-esteem, man. Yeah. You can do this. I bet I can't.
Well, it's because he didn't have that giant Willem Dafoe cock.
Oof, you do.
But she's stumbling over the last line as she was earlier in the movie, and because she's given the speech, and it's, you have no power over me.
And everything crashes.
Yeah, he turns into an owl and flies away.
Barn owl, dude.
Yeah,
Specifically.
Yeah, it's that beautiful white face Barn owl.
Yeah.
I guess there's an alternate version where she basically belittles him more and he turns into a little goblin and runs away.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I like this
You
better.
I
knew
like this
something
much,
about
much
this that
better.
I didn't know?
I read it on the internet.
That's not true. You can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Sure you can. It
I
was
read
from
that on the internet.
It was from IMDb trivia. It can't
Oh,
be
yeah.
it can't be false.
One of these websites lies.
And then now she's in the living room of her house, and she runs upstairs, and Toby is peacefully sleeping.
Not anymore, because she's yelling, Toby, Toby, and flicks the lights on. This kid's rubbing his eyes. I'm like, well, now you got a fucking kid to wake up or to take care
But
of.
they did leave Lancelot on the bed
Yeah.
where she left him when everything happened.
And I do like the parents like come home and start yelling like, hey,
Right?
you here? You here?
Are you home?
Are you home? It's like, she fucking better be.
And
She's
this is-
watching a child.
This is the scene where you see her take the music box and put it in the drawer.
I mean, to
and
be
then close it.
fair, the kid is in a crib. You can leave.
It's 1986, you can. Not now.
Also, I never had a baby.
Oh, is that why
so-
SIDS was such a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Because they weren't there to take the blanket off the baby's face.
I was at the arcade.
I hear Sid's vicious.
Oh.
Worst people.
So yeah, she's putting away her childish things. She has the music box. She has it's the pictures,
of
and
her
the
mom.
Labyrinth book and all
And
that
then
stuff.
we hear Ludo first, right?
Yeah,
Sarah.
and he's in the mirror.
Who is that? Who's there?
Who's in my fucking room?
she
Is that
turns
you,
around
Joe?
Blow your fucking head off. I've got a gun.
And then she looks back, and then it's Sir Didymus, and then he vanishes, and then it's Hoggle, and they're just like, yes, should you need us? And then her line,
For anything at all.
say it in Tomei.
I do need you. I'll always need you.
And then, oh, well then. And then she turns around, it's a fucking
Yeah,
party.
well, then we have a dance magic party in the bedroom.
Yep.
So what? So
But
let's dance.
even the goblins are there. And then
Jump, magic jump.
And then it pans out the window, and you see the barn owl sitting on the branch, staring into this room of everybody
Can't be
having
a part
fun
of the
without
party
him.
because he's an asshole,
And then he flies away.
Yep.
which is a lesson that's not true in real life. People who are assholes definitely get to be a part of the party.
Oh, yeah. I've been invited to a lot of parties.
And here's another alternate thing, and it's a little bit more depressing ending, but it also kind of leans toward the did this really happen thing, because this gives you the sense that like, yes, this did happen. And
You had said earlier it wants you to make it up for yourself. And I think that's correct, but I think that this movie is also leaning towards please think it's real.
well, and it's a kids movie ending, right? It's the happy dance party. There's an alternate version where she doesn't see them in her mirror, but she sees them like come up outside her window, and she's talking to them, and it's the same kind of conversation, but then they just kind of fade away,
So
and
her
she's
growing
left
out
by
of her-
herself.
Ugh.
It's a fucking drop dead Fred situation.
Yeah,
there.
it is.
Fuck that movie.
I have it over there.
Of course you do.
Are we going to suffer Jack through that, or let Jack have a day off and we can get a third on here?
No, he hates it. We have to have him watch it.
I have to be the voice of reason.
I remember liking it, but last time I saw that movie, as many of the movies we've talked about, I was in single digits.
Yeah, let's see how that holds up.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie. Dance
Credits.
Magic Dance. Credits.
Woo!
I just want to say, we mentioned, obviously that Jim Henson passed away and David Bowie passed away.
There's-
But just a rest in pictures dedication to everybody. Like the three main ones that I know from this. I'm sure more
There's
people
probably
have.
a lot of people that worked on this movie that have passed, and thanks to everybody that
Yes,
did the
please.
practical work on this.
Jim Henson passed in 1990, rest in pictures. David Bowie in 2016, and Terry Jones in 2020.
Okay.
Aw.
So they've all passed away. Basically, the key team behind, the creation of this. Obviously, there were dozens of people who
Yes.
worked on the puppets.
But they're the
and all
holy
that.
trinity
But
of the
the
Labyrinth.
people,
They
the lead actor that isn't Sarah, the guy who directed it and created it, and the guy who wrote it. So-
lead actor?
So just for that, But so recommendations.
Obviously 3 thumbs up.
Oh no, it's not recommendations.
I just think it's so funny that even if we were to do recommendations, hey Whitney, this mental health movie of yours, do you recommend it? No.
Fuck this movie.
This was awful.
I'm sorry,
hate
I
myself.
forgot for mental health movies, which we also do on our Patreon every month. So you can hear us talk about good movies every month on patreon.com/worstpeople. We don't do recommendations because obviously we recommend it,
We
or
have.
at least the person who brought the movie recommends
We
it.
do stars.
So we're doing 3 thumbs up.
It's
you had
3
threes.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
3 thumbs up?
1,000%.
Yeah, 3 thumbs up. There's just nothing wrong with it.
And it holds up.
The one thing I was worried about, because I was exhausted today, I was like, fuck, this is going to be a long fucking movie, huh? Because I don't know why I remembered it being long. Hour 40. In and out, dude. Hour 40 that doesn't feel like an hour and 40. This is the worst hangover movie because where are you going to fall asleep?
Never.
You're never going to fall asleep. You're just not going to do it. So
You start falling asleep and you're like, wait, but I want to see that
yeah,
guy.
you're slapping yourself.
I had to get up earlier than usual today, and so towards the middle to the end, I'm like fighting it. I'm like, no!
But it's an easy fight, unlike other ones that we watch where you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait till Derek pokes me. Name your sex tape.
What was it? Was it Supergirl or no? There was something we watched. I was
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, and it was just like.
Also, what was the one that had the helicopter scene?
Nightmare at Noon.
Nightmare at Noon. I knew I could sleep at that point.
Yeah.
Both previous episodes. Nightmare at Noon back in January.
But just to tie that up with a
Doctor
bow,
Strange
you're
back in
not
June.
sleeping during this movie.
No.
I mean, you shouldn't be.
And I'll give it 3 thumbs up also. I didn't grow up with it, and I still have a love for it. I think I have a different appreciation for stuff. There's some of these nostalgia movies where if you don't see it till you're older, you don't connect with it.
You do lose the nostalgia.
I don't have the nostalgia per se, but I think it's incredibly well crafted and everybody does a great job. So, I mean, Sarah Connelly is the worst actress in the movie, and she's a good actress in this movie.
Yeah.
And this is her first film role. She had done commercials and modeling, and that's it.
I think she's great. 14, you said like 14? Yeah, she's doing great.
David Bowie was in the interview that David Bowie was saying, he was like, you would forget that she was only 14 because you could talk to her. And Jim Henson was like, you could give her criticism and she wouldn't cry.
Now,
you didn't have to step on her toes.
A lot of musicians that say that, it could sound creepy, but it's David Bowie. It's like, God, you're just such a fucking awesome human.
Yeah, like if they had cast this movie differently, you forget that she's 14.
And you're right. David Bowie was saying she was very mature, like to talk to, not
I mean, I don't think I've ever heard Jennifer Connelly's name in a bad Connellyation.
No, I mean, she was in that Hulk movie. That's not her fault.
That's not her fault. Eric Bana.
And you know what? There's a lot of stuff to not hate about that movie. I mean, Ang Lee directed the hell out of it. It's just not a great script.
The paneling's good, like the visual paneling.
Yeah, it's not a great script. The CG was too early, and Eric Bana.
Don't touch that dial.
Yeah, Eric Bana. He's one you can always say bad things about. So next week we have Jack's mental health pick, which is That Thing You Do, directed by and starring
Tom Hanks, written by Tom Hanks, produced by
Tom Hanks.
The only thing he didn't do that I'm aware of is casting, and he did fight for certain casting, which we'll talk about.
His son was not in it, right?
No.
Wait,
which one? The one that's doing terrible Jamaican accents and instead of apologizing doubles down? Chet. Talking about Chet.
Chet Hanks.
Chet Hanks.
That's a name. That's a name of a fucking asshole if I've ever heard one.
Hey, nobody's perfect. Tom Hanks had a piece of shit for a son. You know.
What's the one that's his brother?
I don't. It's his half brother.
He's the one that did all the voices for Woody and like the
toys, video games, cartoons.
Well,
not the movie cartoons. Obviously.
No. Like the TV cartoons.
Do you remember the episode of Scrubs? Feel free to cut this. If you remember the episode of Scrubs where JD and Turk are setting up the Dr. Hooch with Dr. Turner, so it's Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
That actor is Tom Hanks' brother, and that's why he looks a lot like him and sounds exactly like him. Had a hell of a run, man.
I love it.
But yeah.
So if you want to hear more Bad Movies, Worst People, you can get us at badmoviesworstpeople.com. And as I mentioned on Patreon, at patreon.com/worstpeople for only $3 a month. You get one of these kind of episodes every month, plus a newsletter. Plus we have more content coming for you, like early access to Han Took Shots First, which the second episode will be coming out this month. So enjoy that. Our mental health Patreon movie, like our extra mental health movie for this month is one I chose it, but I know it's one that everybody likes. We kind of talked about it.
Muppet Treasure
Hot
Island?
Fuzz.
Oh, so close.
Hot Fuzz. Everybody likes Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're doing that for our Patreon this month. And so far you have access to our last 3, which was Godzilla 2014, The Princess Bride, and The Quick and the Dead. So check those out.
You never put your podcast in the air and went,
We have a special guest on the Princess Bride one.
We do.
I'm not going to say who it is, though.
No, you have to pay $3.
Yep.
Do you take debit?
Yes.
Okay.
We
take debit, credit. I don't know if Patreon takes Bitcoin, but they might. I don't know.
Do you take wood carvings I've made of you?
No.
No,
Well, I left
unfortunately.
them in your room anyway.
It's only digital currency. We thank Invasion for our opening and closing music. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have been the Goblin King.
I'm still Whitney.
I'm Hoggle.
Fuck me. Okay, go
The
for
end.
it. That works.
I mean, there's going to be no good night and go fuck yourself. It's just fuck me.
Just,
I already closed it.
Yeah, and she even gave the hand job gesture.
I said,
see how that? Look
Derek
at that.
Jack.
That's a hand job
That's the hand job gesture. Woo, woo, woo.